listening to the Bomb Hole.
Bomb Hole Podcast.
It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
The Bomb Hole.
I'm gonna slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
Okay, here we go again. Another week, another bomb hole. We're back in the booth, presented by Wild Mike's Pub Beer and Solomon Snowboards. Now, Stony Buds, how are you, my friend?
Doing real good, my dog.
Always love hearing that. To my left, we have Spencer Whiting, a.k.a. Spenny, a.k.a. Gimby, also known as Gimbal God. How we doing, Gimby?
We're doing good. We're chilling, baby.
Happy to have you in here. Today, I think we're going to start a little differently and just jump right into a guest question from none other than Zach Hale. Here we go.
What up, Bombhole? What up, Spencer? I got a question for you. Give us the rundown of what happened when you decided to take a jet ski from Southern California to Catalina. I think everyone would like to hear that. It's an interesting one for sure. Very you type of story. Later, guys. Enjoy.
All right. Well, first off, Brock kind of got me hooked on the jet ski back in 2019. Bought one this May. No idea. Never owned a jet ski. Never owned a motorized anything. We'd maybe put 12 hours on it. And then my buddy was like, oh, we're going to Catalina Island this weekend. And the ferry was full. So I was like, dude, I looked it up and you could drive your jet ski. There's jet ski tours to Catalina. So I originally was going to go with my girlfriend. And then I was I'd read someone had died and I didn't know what I was doing. My roommate ends up going with me. We make it there. And I remember the night before we're packing, I had 2 surfboards on there. And he's like, well, so we don't have to take them on the ferry. Can we just put 2 more? And we got a stack of 4 surfboards on this sled on the back of the ski. And already I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. Get almost there. And we're within striking distance of the island. And first thing that goes wrong is I look and all the surfboards are gone. So we had to backtrack 5 minutes and we find 1 and then we find 2. And then we find 2 on top of each other, get all the surfboards, get there. And the first nightmare, we kind of thought that we were going to have a zone to camp. Someone had it set up, but finds out that all the reservations are booked. And basically we're scrambling the whole day trying to figure out where we can camp. And, I'd seen in Hawaii, everybody beaches their jet ski on the beach, drive it right up. I kind of messed up and I drove it up without turning the engine off. So rocks went into the impeller.
Oh, wow.
And so but I don't notice it yet. And so we chilling on the beach and then I take the ski back out and I am going to drive it to where we're going to camp. And thing won't pretty much go a little bit faster than idling. And I'm tripping, call Dan Crouch, who's Brock Crouch's dad. And he's kind of the jet ski sensei. And called him, told me exactly what happened. Next morning, pretty much have 7 dudes trying to fix this jet ski. finally get it going, make it back. And then the next funniest thing is about 2 weeks later, we went to do it again, right? And long story short, one of the valves on the ski ended up disconnecting. So essentially we had a hole. So whenever it was still, it was filling up with water. And we did a full backcountry trip. It was 45 miles to the other side of Catalina. And next day we camped, everything was rad. And then I go to check on the ski in the morning and the thing is sunk, dude. And I have a boogie board on the back that is a rescue sled. And the ski is just fully sunk, water up. I'll send you a video of what the scene was at 7 a.m. And I'm there with my buddy. We're trying to fix this thing for 5 hours. And then we had to throw in the towel and call the boat rescue people, called Geico, got the had a nice freaking, but the silver lining was that if we had fixed the ski and got to leave, it was like we planned to leave in the morning, and by this time it would have been early afternoon, and we would have died, dude. On the boat ride back, dude, it was like 4-foot cross chop, like wind swell. Like we would have tipped that thing and been like, because there was so much weight with the camping gear on the back. But
Wow.
that's the story of me not thinking things through and just going for it.
That's unreal. I love hearing
You're like
that.
Kenny Powers out there, huh, on the jet ski. That's
Dude, we were just trying to have fun.
Yeah, that's killer. Well, you know, we didn't really touch on this earlier, but, you know, a lot of people, if you're unfamiliar with Spenny, he's known as Gimbal God for kind of, I would say, popularizing the in-the-air follow cam in snowboarding. You might see him at X Games following a lot of these guys down the half pipe, or big air jumps following them off the slope style jumps, yada, yada, yada. But I kind of want to throw it back to, you know, obviously this story about the jet ski and surfing. You grew up in SoCal originally, correct?
Yep. Well, born in New York City, moved to San Diego when I was like 6.
Okay. And you grew up surfing and competing snowboarding and stuff like that?
I grew up skating, and then I like started to surf when I was like 11. I'd been snowboarding the whole time, but like kind of weekend warrior style. And then when I was like 12, I really got into it. But skating was kind of the beginning.
I was watching you used to go up to Mammoth all the time, correct?
Yep.
I watched some maybe 2010, 2011 sponsor me tape.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, ripping half pipe rider.
That was my ish back in the day. I like really wanted to go the half pipe route, and it was fun. And then like once my like best friend Brandon Davis, insane snowboarder.
Give me an air horn.
Yeah, Brandon deserves an air horn. And but he was insane at pipe. But then when he was like 16, he was like, I'm gonna go slope. And then once he left the pipe, I was like up there. I was like, fuck, dude, this isn't as fun anymore. Like I went over to the slope course, but definitely like little better at pipe, I think. I never really figured out the jumps.
We should insert some of the clips from that sponsor me video, because there's like you doing a big old front 9 in the pipe, but kind of a front 10, and then I love the back 10 to claim on the bottom on the hog at Mammoth.
Oh yeah, dude.
Arms straight up.
I was
amping.
such a fucking froth ball, just grom.
froth ball.
Oh, it's insane.
So let's talk about your kind of, because everybody sees you flying off the cheese wedges next to Stale these days, but like people, I don't know if everybody knows that you were highly competitive snowboarder. I kind of want to talk about the early days of your snowboard career and what that looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I was super competitive and like kind of like contest driven for sure. I'd like my like family like had no background in snowboarding, so like my dad skied like moguls back in the day, and we kind of like he always had me in the mountains, and I remember one year he was like, oh, like we should sign you up for the Mammoth snowboard team, and I kind of like started going up there on the weekends, and then like sooner rather than later I kind of like got super hooked on it, and I was into skating, and then like I felt like I started like kind of picking up snowboarding a little better, and I always kind of wanted to like make that my thing. And then I remember like growing up, like Brandon Davis was there, like Greg Bretz was kind of like the big like Mammoth hometown hero, and like Luke Matrani, Jack Matrani, they were like a little ahead of me, but I always like kind of looked up to them like, oh, I want to get there. And I remember when like Greg made like the 2010 Olympics, it was just like, dude, it's like possible, you know? And like that was kind of like my mindset for a while. Like I really wanted to go down that route. But I think like you kind of, you know, like I started getting older, and like I never like had like a proper like contract or anything. I was just kind of float gear, super small incentive contract with Mammoth, and I don't know, you kind of like there's goods and greats, and kind of figure out who you are before you chase yourself down a rabbit hole. And that's kind of what I like ended up feeling like around like 1920. It's like, well, you know, if you haven't made it by now, like Mark already has 3 X Games medals, so figure your shit out, you know? Well,
the difference too between competitive snowboarding and like filming video parts is that like recognizing the good to great. You have to be great in order to make it to the Olympics, to win X Games slopestyle. You have to be this really small nucleus of the best in the world. But you could have, one thing I kind of thought was interesting is like, you could have been like, well, maybe I'm not going to win these contests, but I could still go hang with the best in the video part realm. How come you never went down that rabbit hole?
It's kind of funny. I don't know. I think for me, I was so caught up in like trying to, and what I always think is like my mindset when I was like snowboarding, just that versus like now I'm more the filmer. Two totally different people. Like, I don't even, like, remember that guy, which is funny. Because, like, all the things that I would, like, talk shit on now and hate on, that was, like, me back then. Mm-hmm. Which is, like, kind of funny to, like, see that now. But, like, I always looked up to, like, Worm. Because he was like, in the contest scene when I was a kid. Like, I remember going to, like, USASA Nationals. And, like, we were, like, competing together. But then he just, like, broke off and kind of went the film route and, like, started filming with Absinthe and, like, doing all these sick movies and, like, snowboarder projects. And I remember I was always so jealous of it. I was like, fuck, this guy looks good. And, like, it looks so rad. And I always, like, wanted to, like, get into that scene, but, like, never really found it. And then I think it was, like, kind of, like, after I, like, gave up the whole snowboarding thing and just, like, did a year riding for, like, me, things kind of started falling into place where it's like, yeah, maybe I wasn't the one being filmed, but then I kind of started getting into the scene where, like, I was able to go shoot those guys.
At shoots, you were always crushing it too, man. Like,
Sketch.
Sketch, you always were going big, I guess, and looking good.
Thanks, dude. No,
So it is surprising you never made that turn into putting out a video part.
I mean, I'm working on my decade part now.
There we go.
Got a 2030 one coming. We're just gonna pull all all the bales from like the last 10 years.
Well, and even since you became a filmer, I remember at that Giro shoot, you at the end of the day, sunset, or didn't you guinea that whole jump for everybody basically?
Yeah,
like went the biggest on the over the top of the hip, and like he went the biggest. And sunset, he's the guy hitting the jump after the shoot's done. Got one of the best photos probably from the shoot.
No, I don't know. I stopped guinea pigging jumps though.
Did you?
I blew my knee out guinea pigging jump. I'm done with that now. But I remember the step up at Super
Park Mammoth.
Yeah,
that
Johnny one. Did you remember when I didn't guinea it because it was like the day after we hit it, but the first time I hit it on the War Pig and I slipped out and accidentally did a backflip.
I do remember that.
Yeah. I thought I was dead, dude. I thought I died. Fully thought I died.
The old War Pig going to war.
I remember Bridges comes up to me, hey, you might think about switching your board. You need a little more tail to hit this thing. I was like, dude, fuck, I don't know what I just did.
Nothing like a classic loop out to air chair. One of those, like that. There's nothing better to watch one of those.
Dude, and it was such a step up. I like in the air, I was like, oh my God. Oh my, like I'm going to smack into the wall. And then I remember just like being upside down and I kind of just like committed to the backflip and all of a sudden the landing was there. I was like, dude, how the frick did I just like survive this?
Jeez.
That was nuts.
That was a sketchy jump.
Yeah. So kind of to move it before you kind of found your role, filming, snowboarding and making that transition. I think a lot of people can relate to, you kind of went through a period where you're a bit lost, if I'm correct, right?
For sure, dude. Like I remember like it was like August 2015. Pretty much went down to Australia with like a checklist to like what tricks I wanted to like have dialed for like the upcoming season. Like after, I remember I pretty much spent a month getting bodied on back tens and cab nines, and I was like, what the hell? Like I can't figure this out. And it was like, I kind of had this realization. It was like at the end of it, like, I don't even know if this is for me. I just literally spent 30 days lapping a T-bar, hitting jumps, and like, I'm no better than like when I started. And after that, I went back to Boulder where it was like my sophomore year. I pretty much like get back to Boulder from like this month and a half trip. Within 20 minutes, girlfriend of like 4 years at the time breaks up with me, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I had no idea where I was or like what I was supposed to do. And then kind of like wound up in a pretty crazy situation that fall where like I'd never done drugs besides like smoking weed every now and then. And I did cocaine for my first time. And that wound me up kind of like it pretty much what I learned is my body can't take uppers. And it threw me on this like crazy manic like 4-day spin where like I got in trouble. I went to an airport and I had like a fake ID at the time. I was like 20. And I remember I was just thinking, I was just like, you know, I like don't want it. Like I got like 4 months to go. Like I don't need this fake ID. I'm going to get rid of it. My idiot self, dude. I dropped the fake ID. Like instead of just like throwing it away in the trash can, in the DIA airport, like the tram, I just like dropped it in the slit between the tram and like the airport, like where you get off. And my just like dumb luck, pilot's behind me. And so he reports that to the police. And then I'm like going to my gate and like the airport police come up to me and they're like, hey, like, we had this report. And they didn't know what I threw down there. They thought it could have been a bomb or whatever. So they had to like fully take me in and they like pretty much took me to a hospital to do like a mental check. And I got, I obviously failed it.
What made them do a mental check?
They just like, they had to like, they didn't know what I put down there. And then they were like,
and you were giving a weird
answer. Were you acting weird because you were like high and shit like that?
Like, I assume, like, obviously I was like so in it, but obviously I seemed super manic and like just out there. And, I remember they took me like in an ambulance from DIA airport to some hospital. And then I was like tripping, dude. I was like, what the fuck? And then like my ex-girlfriend at the time, she like wouldn't pick up her phone. So that was like tripping me out. And then like they kept saying like, oh, we just need to like keep you here overnight. And then like the next morning they like kept me over there overnight. And then like I was like tripping, dude. Like no, like
you're in a basically mental hospital.
No, this was just hospital.
Oh, hospital.
This
okay.
was just normal hospital.
Okay.
And then they brought me to the mental hospital the next day. And they said it was going to be a 3-day stay. And I was just tripping out because I was like, what the fuck? Like, I like wasn't like if I just didn't fucking throw away the fake ID.
What'd you tell him you threw in the hole?
Well, I told him it was just like I think I told him
ID.
I think I told him. I can't totally remember. I don't want to say I said fake ID because I kind of knew that like I shouldn't say that. But they like just they didn't believe me or whatever, and fuck.
Well, probably what happens
crazy,
too
dude.
when you're in a hospital and you have drugs in your system. Sometimes they'll send in Salt Lake. They'll send you to a place called Uni to detox.
Yep.
So that's essentially why if you're in a regular hospital and you're acting mentally a little bit off, and you got drugs in your system, they'll send you to it's a mental hospital.
Yeah.
And
they can keep you for X amount of days.
Yeah. That was, dude, that's the sniper, right? They tell you it's a 72-hour hold, and then every 72 hours, if the doctor doesn't clear you, they put you on another one.
Oh.
So, dude, I was like 11 days in here, and I'm like fucking tripping. I was like, there are gnarly people, dude. Like, I saw like full like heroin addicts like on withdrawal, like clawing at like the tile, and it was just like this whole time, dude, in this hospital, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how did I wind up here? And like all this shit, and then. Like, obviously, like, I'm pretty sure what happened, like, it's school, because I was, like, in Boulder at the time, is, like, my ex-girlfriend, I don't know, but, like, obviously rumors were spread. And, like, shit was crazy. Like, we were kind of, like, starting, like, the mayhem videos and that, and I was just, like, off my shit. And, like, it's crazy to me that, like, you know, like, drugs affect everyone differently, but this was like literally my first time ever doing cocaine, and it just like the way what I've learned is like my body kind of like has a natural upper, so like if you add an upper to that, it makes me manic. And it was pretty crazy. It was like after I ended up getting out after like 11 days, and I remember I was like super lost. Like, you know, it was like my whole friend crew at college like thought I was like this fucking lunatic. Like our kind of crew was like, what the fuck is going on? And like, I like just got out of this breakup, like no money. I remember getting out of the hospital and I had like negative 68 cents in my checking account. I had like I was like, what the fuck do I do? And I was like at my mom's house. My mom was like so gnarly strict on me. Just like, you know, like no alcohol, no weed, no nothing. And like, for me, I was like, you know, I felt like in prison, like after, and then like my mom was just tripping.
She was always like that, or that was the new rule because of what happened?
Well, she was always like that.
Always
but
like
now
that.
she was like,
Yeah.
yo, you know,
and
like,
after 3 days, you were still manic, and so they
yeah.
still
Well, that's
you,
it,
or you
and
were
that's
just freaking.
well, that's the thing. They diagnosed me with like manic bipolar, and that was like the craziest trip for me. Is like getting this new label, right? That like you're this thing, and like it was crazy. They're like feeding me like, dude, the gnarliest drugs. Like they made me feel dead. Like I remember like getting out of there. I was like, I was on them, and that was like my mom. She was like, if you don't take these, you're not allowed to stay here. You have to find your own house. And it was like, dude, I was like I'd sleep 18 hours a day. I was fully dead, like completely dead. And then I remember, like I basically like Brandon that winter let me rent his condo in Mammoth or stay there on the loft or whatever. It was like $400 a month. And I was like, fuck, well, he let me, like, November was chill. And he was like, you could start paying in December. And I remember that I was in Wave Rave, and Courtney, who was the manager at Sushi Ray at the time, I just asked her, I was like, hey, Courtney, can I, like, work at Sushi Ray? And she said yes. And she was like, when do you want to start? I was like, whenever. She was like, you start tomorrow. And I was like, dude, this is like, I've never had, like, a job like this. Like, that was pretty steez. And ended up like working sushi that whole winter, like worked out, like had enough to pay rent, but like ended up just kind of like doing the year in Mammoth. And I remember like back to you saying like how I didn't get into the video part realm. It was like that year I was like, well, all I'm going to do this year is like ride from 8 to 4. And then like at 4, I go clock in, go home, change, and then like go to work at 5. And it was like, I pretty much did that, and just like, I rode with Blum a lot, and I just like rode Mammoth, like didn't really touch the park, but I remember I just wanted to get my like edge control back. But it was crazy because like I was taking those meds like probably for like the first 2 months in Mammoth, and then like I remember like after a while I just like and they're like pretty much meds to like even out the highs and lows. And then I remember I stopped taking them, and like nothing really changed. And then like that, like I haven't taken them since, but like I definitely still have highs and lows. But I remember it was like the hardest part of like after that whole episode was just like getting this new label, you know, that like your whole friend group at the time like knew about, and like everybody still thought I was crazy, and like, oh shit, I was just like lost dog, you know, like I didn't know what the heck to do. And I think that was like a pretty like crazy, it was almost like kind of like new life, you know.
Everyone's like, this guy was in a mental hospital for 11 days.
Yeah, dude, and that like that's the crazy like thing is like with mental health, like there's such a stigma on it, you know. It's like I felt so weird like talking about it and like all this stuff, but like I think what's rad is it kind of allowed me the opportunity to where it was like I felt like I fucked up so bad that it was like, all right, you know, like that whole crew like doesn't fuck with me, doesn't want anything to do with me, neither does that one. Like I'm on my own, but I just gotta like do things so proper to like prove to like my mom and like just like I don't know, like my circle at the time that like I figured my shit out, you know, and it didn't happen like quick. It like was like a 2-year process, but I think it was like, you know, like things were pretty coasty through that. And then like that whole breakup and like life just flipping upside down kind of like it grounded me, you know, like humbled me. It was like, yo, like, you're on your own. You got to figure this shit out. And I remember it was like that fall. It was pretty funny because it was the Oakley mini pipe contest. And we like did the event or whatever. And I went to TJ DeWood's office and Bridges was there. And TJ was like, Bridges was asking for a ride. And then TJ's like, Spencer, you're leaving right now, huh? And I was like, yeah. He's like, can you drive Bridges? And I was like, dude, I was so scared. I was like, I've never been in a car with Bridges for like one-on-one. And then of course it was like 45 minutes of traffic down from Main Lodge. But I remember that it was like that car ride. I asked Bridges if I could intern at Snowboarder the following fall, because I was like I remember Bryn Valeka interned and my buddy Gray interned the summer before, and I was just like, all right, well, like, at least I can get, like, some experience with, like, a proper company and get somewhere, you know? But that was
Clavin was saying last night how you were an intern, and
yeah,
you guys were in a cubicle next to each other or something.
Dude, the funny thing is when I was interning, because I was there, it was, like, me and this guy, Justin Romano, that was interning, and it was, like, me interning for 3 weeks, Justin left, and then there was, like, 3 weeks of me just solo, and I had Mary Walsh's old desk. And then I remember I'd go in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I remember I'd like go in Pat's office. Pat, like, you know, no direction, just like, look at me. Spencer, this is Mark, Spencer. And like, that was it. And then he like just started talking about whatever he's talking about. But I thought Mark was the new intern.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And I thought Mark was the new intern for like 2 months, dude. Because like Mark just got back from photography school and he was like so out of the scene. He was always like getting videos and like showing them to me, like, yo, what trick is, or like, who's, is this cool? Like, it like, I was just like,
the game fresh out of a
I was just like, yo,
school.
he's the new intern, you know? And like, I remember I said that. I was like, so like, how long are you interning for? And he just broke out laughing. He's like, motherfucker, I'm letting you sit at my desk. I was like, what? This is
he
my
said
desk.
you bought him lunch one day and we're like,
Yeah.
good luck with the new internship or something.
Dude,
That's
straight
what he
up.
told me.
It
I
was
doing
so
some
clean.
talking to him about you last night and
Yeah.
he told me that story.
Dude,
What's his official title at that time?
What was his official
he
title?
was the new online editor.
Yeah, online
editor. He's like, good luck with your internship.
Yeah. Dude.
He's chilling at the desk. And
Oh, that was so good. But I think that's like what made Clavin and I super close.
Yeah.
Is like, I wasn't scared of him at first, you know? So
You
it was
just
like,
figured you guys were on the
and I
same
was
playing
terrified of Pat.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was an even playing field. It was like,
That's so
we're going to
cool.
be homies, you know? But,
is that what kind of got you into media then, huh? Doing that internship?
well, I was I remember I was at Mammoth, or I went to the launch, and I remember we were like hitting some jump, and T-Bird was at the top. And T-Bird, like, because I asked Pat in that car ride, you know, launch is like 3 weeks later. And then T-Bird's like, so I heard you're the new intern. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I got the gig. And then I remember in Mammoth, maybe like 2 weeks after that, Pat calls me at like 2 p.m. He's like, hey, Spenny, you want to start your internship today? Like, I want you to film Sage for the blackboard test. And that was like the first time I'd ever shot with Sage. And then that was kind of like, that's kind of what started it. It was like that whole year I was like doing the me year in Mammoth. Peter Morning, shouts to Peter. He would hire me for like a couple $100 to film their like Legends of the Fall line, which was like Snowboarder was involved, and it was like kind of like a run off of Mammoth into the park. And they did like 4 of them, but that was like a little side income. And like, I was like snowboarding that year, but it was like, I'd film for that, or like when Brandon and them were in town, like I'd film some follow cams or whatever, but it wasn't like, it was never like, oh, I'm going to like be a follow cam guy. It was just, you know, like it worked out, and
You learned your way around a camera, right?
I mean, not even, dude. I couldn't afford a camera at this point. I was on a GoPro. Like, that's
really?
why I shot GoPro,
Yeah.
is because like Davey Schmidt, he
Give him an air horn.
yeah, Davey's been hooking it up.
You hooked us up with our GoPro. We used
Dude, yeah. Since I was like, I think he's been hooking me up with GoPro since I was like 15, 16. But I was like, okay, well, I can get a free camera, And like at the time I didn't know anything, but like the resolutions were getting better, and I was like, well, this should be sick. And then I remember when the gimbals came out, I was just like, my friend who worked at GoPro at the time, like he had a makeshift one that the engineering team made, and they filmed like some like baseball kind of like movie. And I was just like, it was a golf cart, like filming a dude running. And I was like, dude, like that's like a Hollywood shot, And then after that, I remember like I like was looking up online, found like a Chinese brand. I was like, dude, if we like do this on a snowboard, I don't need another I don't need a big camera, because like this little thing, the quality is so good. And that's kind of like, once I figured that out, it was like Brandon and I would like film each other. But then it got to a point where I was like, Brandon looks way better on video, and like, like he's actually like maybe gonna make the Olympics. Like I'll just film him, but he like Brandon's like just as good at filming. When I was like, I blew my knee out, he was like the Gimbal God sub in for a couple shoots. Yeah.
Backup Gimby?
Yeah. Brandon's got some skills on the freaking camera game, that's for sure.
He's a good dude.
I want to highlight this whole kind of sequence of events real quick for my own personal mental notes, but it's pretty cool. It's like, you broke your ankle snowboarding. You were hurt all year. You didn't know what to do. You go to Australia to try to learn all these tricks, these double corks, so you can go to the Olympics. You try to learn all these tricks. You end up not figuring them out and being like, dude, do I have what it takes? Go home, girlfriend leaves you, which will make just about anybody insane. That'll make you crazy even if you don't do a couple lines of cocaine. Then you throw that in the mix, and then all of a sudden you end up in this mental hospital. The doctor gives you this diagnosis where you're no real different the day before the diagnosis than after, but all of a sudden you're like, am I crazy? Because you said I'm crazy, or said I'm bipolar, or whatever. And so yada, yada, yada. Then you kind of hit your rock. It seems like you kind of hit your rock bottom, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was, dude, it was crazy because like all this time too, like that season, we had gotten some money from a family friend, and that was to hire Drew Hastings to film Brandon and I to do the Mayhem videos. Mm-hmm. So like we had like, Drew was on board, like, and it was all starting on November 1st. I went to the mental hospital on October 28th. So I'm in the mental hospital like, yo, what the fuck is happening? Like, and the first video was supposed to go out on the 1st, and like it ended up going out a little later, but like pretty much it was like I didn't really know Drew too well, and like I like got out and like no one trusted me. Everybody was like, dude, what the fuck? And like it was like this whole crazy thing where it was like I was paying for the videos. Like we got like a super small budget from like GoPole and like this company Trace, but it was like we were paying Drew $1,000 a month, and he was like, the plan was like to make, or at least like my plan, like how we got the initial money was like we were gonna just like make kind of weekly, bi-weekly videos, and it was going to be like of the whole crew. And then that whole year, then it was like my thing happened, then Torstein like was like hyped on the Mayhem things, so then like they became Shredbots videos. Yep. But like I got fully left out of the equation. And then I remember there was like an Aaron style interview where like they did a like thing on Mayhem, and my name wasn't even mentioned. Damn. And I'm like, yo, I fucking paid for this shit. Like I have like, my business to this day is Mayhem. Like I just felt like so excluded, and I was like, literally everyone is like, fuck you. And I was like, I remember like for like my head, I was just like, holy shit.
That's
like,
for a young kid
what do
to
I
deal
do?
with. That's,
yeah, I was like
you
20.
Can't deal with that.
And you were a product of the system too. You
Yeah.
just got jacked by him.
Dude, and it was like, but at the same time, like all of that stuff happening, like that was the best thing that could ever happen.
That's
like
what I was
straight
getting
up.
at. That's
like,
what I was getting at.
Straight the fuck up. Like if none of that ever happened, there's no way I would be like here today, or like I don't know where I would be or what I would be doing, but like there's like, I think in those 11 days, I think I learned like some of like the hardest, craziest lessons that like there's only like when you got a crazy dude trying to like stick his dick in your belly button and like fucking watching people withdraw off cocaine, like you go through some fucking shit, and like you gotta like, I don't know, there's only one way to like learn that, and I think it's different for everybody, but for me it was like that situation. And it's like you can either be depressed and like, you know, look at the negatives, or you could look at like how you can grow from this. And I think that's like, that was the only option, you know.
Did you need to learn that you were bipolar? Like,
I think so.
Was that
for
maybe
sure
a positive of that
and
11 days?
I think now too, like, cause I haven't been to like therapist or like psychologist or whatever, like since 2016. But like, there's definitely highs and lows. Like ask Stale, he'll know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I am like all over the place, but it's like this crazy thing. It's like, you know, if you take the drugs, you lose the creative side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's for sure, I think like what a lot of my creativity stems from, but it's also managing it, right? Like relationships, like you, like even like Stale and me, like, you know, like it's, we'll bicker and all like say a different thing like every other day. And he's like probably one of like the most smooth leveled people I know. So it's like to have me,
he knows
like,
when you're up, when you're down.
Oh yeah,
and
like dude,
knows what
he's
to do.
Like in a good way.
Yeah.
He's like my parent, you know. Like, but it's like if I'm the bowling ball, Stale is like the like rails on like the gutter or whatever
Yeah.
that like kind of keep me on the straight and narrow. But I think it's like what I've learned is it's like having like a super good circle around you, and like, you know, if you have that good circle, people are going to keep you in check. And, you know, like, I think it also, like, as I've, like, kind of grown from that point, I can kind of, like, know when I'm, like, getting up or, like, down, which is, like, it's also a reason where, like, for me, like, I'm not, like, a super big drinker. Like, I'll have, like, wine here and there, but even, like, and, like, I don't touch, like, anything that's not natural. Like I definitely like smoke weed here and there, and like, but you can't, I just like my body, like that'll just explode, you know. It's like way better if I'm just like kind of up and down, but pretty even, but then you add those substances in and it just like makes you crazy. And I think I'm pretty stoked I learned that at 20, because a lot of people learn that later in life, and the like consequences can be a lot gnarlier.
Yeah, way later. That's awesome that you figured that all out now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think like it's like you gotta learn it though. I mean, I know like you've had your issues and stuff with like alcohol and whatever,
Totally.
and like
yeah, I've gone through. Yeah, I was addicted to doing drugs and had a drinking problem and been through all of it as well. And it's always good. Like and kind of what I've found in that kind of journey is that rock bottom is like one of the best things when you actually hit that.
Yeah.
It gives you a whole new appreciation. It gives you motivation. It gives you that kind of drive to not want to be back there, you know.
For sure.
And then also going back to what you're just saying too, like sometimes I hate to say it, like talking about being balanced, like I'll be in my head about some shit and go snowboarding, and all of a sudden I'm like, that balanced me out. Like I don't need any fucking pills.
Yeah.
Because you finding those things, and I'm not saying that that's like a doctor prescribed thing to do,
No.
but whether it's surfing or skating or riding a dirt bike or riding a mountain bike or even going on a run, I think finding those activities are just such a great mental stability balancer. Have you found that as well?
dude, that's like, I don't know what I would do without my like snowboard, skateboard, and surfboard. Like that, those are my drugs. I do that every day, and like that keeps me even, you know. Like it was like even the other day, like earlier this week, I was like working, and I was like, okay, like it was like 2 and I finished, and I was like, you know what? I just need to go take a couple runs, just like clear my head out, you know. Like there's like a lot of things bouncing around. It's just like there's nothing that like a good toe side turn. It's like you're fucking styling, just mobbing down groomers, you know, like trying to just hit shitty side hits. It's like that'll take anything off your mind, you know. I think it's like finding, and that's probably why I'm so drawn to like the follow cams, is like filming tripod and fish. It gives me too much time to think. You know, like when you're like in the moment and just like doing it, there's one option: don't hit the dude. Get the shot. Like you hit him, you fuck him up, you fuck yourself up. But like it's such a like There's no other distractions, nothing else going on. It's just that. And I think that's probably like why I've gotten like obsessed or like doing that style of filming in the beginning is like it really like took everything out of my head except for like what was in front of me.
That's killer.
I have a Patreon question along what you just mentioned from Michael Kozak. What was the biggest collision with a rider in the air or in a landing?
Dude, in honestly biggest collision, like 2015 maybe, Eric Boschman, Mammoth, pre Gimbal God years. Like it was, I remember he was like, yo, we're gonna let's do a front 10 on the first jump. And like he landed it first try and we never talked about the second jump. And it was
you
like,
didn't even discuss it.
No, and he hit the 3-pack at Mammoth, and he like, I remember he did like front 10, like front 3 or something, like, and then went back 10, but drifted, and like I didn't know, this was like now I know.
Yeah, you need to know.
Well, I know like everyone's like drifts and like edge controls and how they like operate on a board, but like at this time, like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, no helmet, like just super sketchy. And anyways, we like hit, like he went back 10 straight into me. We hit luckily like 2 feet before the landing. And like, dude, he got a like pretty gnarly concussion. Like I got pretty tweaked. Like it was gnarly. And I remember Brandon in the clip, like comes down. He's like, yo, you gotta wear a helmet. Like you can't be fucking doing this. Like, and like, it was like crazy, but luckily like, that got out of the way earlier. Like there's definitely been some crashes, but luckily haven't like done too many like in air.
Well, while we're talking about this, we got to talk about the Audi 9 crash, dude. That we'll insert that clip. That one is
European one.
It's dude, Sebe, first of all, doing the sickest back rodeo 9 nose grab.
Insane.
Unreal.
Huge.
You killed it in the air the whole time. Until he gets slaughterhouse 5'd.
Yeah,
put him
that's
in a
the one
body
that went
bag.
viral, right?
Put him in a body bag.
Yeah,
he's done.
Well, dude, it was, and you know what? Like, because like I'll never follow someone directly behind, but what happened is like Sebe's like one of the few snowboarders like as big as me, and like
he's a big dude.
He's a big dude, but think we're on a skinny ass takeoff. He's in front of me. It was full NASCAR draft, dude. Like we're going the same speed, and he blocked all the wind. And like if you look at the raw clip,
hafting.
He's halfway up the lip. I'm right at the bottom, like before the tranny. By the end of the lip, I'm like here, and he's like taking off. And I immediately, all that was going through in my mind is like, I'm gonna kill him. Like, and he doesn't even know. Like I was just like, I'm gonna hit him, and like that's why I was like trying to get wide to like slow down.
Doing squirrel suit.
There was like one moment where I was just like, yes, we're like good, and then I realized I was sideways, and I was just like, yo, I gotta do a front one, and then I thought I landed on my heels, and then like slipped out, caught my heels, but I tried to like nose or tail block the landing.
He skewered his tail into the landing and just got
And didn't you like fly out to Europe? Is this the one where and then you got hurt and had to go right back home too?
Dude,
like,
I
all
like,
the way around the world basically.
Yeah, I flew to Europe. That was the 4th clip of the day. And then got bodied. And it's funny, Stale came up after and everyone's like, oh, Spenny fell. And he was like, not like giving me shit, but he was like, you'll be fine, you're good. And then it was like 2 p.m. I was like, okay, maybe I'll take a lap. Went up, and then like homie's like, yo, I filmed your crash. Like, have you seen it? And Stale and I both watched it, and he's like, holy fuck. Like, you can chill, dude. You're good.
Dude, also, mind you, what is this? Like, it's got to be almost a 100-foot jump. It was fucking a
dude,
hog.
it felt like a base jump, like straight up. But like a dope base jump. Because it wasn't like a lot of pop. It was more like, you just went super fast and you're on the, like, you can't, like, there's a point and it's like, yo, don't edge or you die.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
Yeah.
consequence zone. So, like, or like no
Full
fall
commit
zone.
Full commit zone.
And like, then I remember when like you hit it good, it was just like, fuck yeah. Like you saw like the whole valley. And I remember like Sebe of all people, like we're like first person I see the whole day. I'm like, yo, what up? How is it? He's like, so good. Sniper's sick. And I was like, you hit the sniper? And then he's like, yeah, dude. Like, I was like, oh, I'll follow you in. And then in my head, we had like the week to film a video for Monster. And it was just like, the weather was supposed to be bad the whole time. This was the best day. And in my head, I was like, well, let's knock the gnarliest thing out first. And then we can kind of like relax the rest of the week with like not having to shoot that. And then, yeah, I just never made it past the sniper.
Dude, I want to talk about when you first came on the scene. There was a clip. This is when I distinctly remember being like, who the fuck is Gimbal God? And it was a clip, I want to say Nick Baden from Super Park, back 10, filmed from in front.
Yeah.
We should archive that for this.
Yeah,
too.
we got it, dude.
That one I was like, holy, dude, what is this filming? What is this shit? It was like.
That was probably
it looks like a video game, right?
Yeah. That's still one of like my favorite clips. Like, first of all, like if I could film with like anyone on any random day, it's like always Baden. I don't know. Like, we always just like have so much fun, and he rides so fast. Like, I think that's what I like, is you never know what the fuck Baden's gonna do. Mm-hmm. And I remember like that Super Park, I was just like, I thought about the front follow because Torgear and I just did one in locks, and that was like the first one. And then this jump was just like so perfect for it. I was like, yo, Baden, like, let me go in front and like you like spin into the camera. We did one and I kind of messed it up. And then like the next one, he just like laced like, and it's like funny because like all like kind of like if I do it right and like go off the jump, you know, like you're pretty chill, you know, like you kind of look around and stuff. So I'll like look back and just like make sure the camera's in frame. And I remember I looked back and Baden's like full like Beyblade, like 2 feet away from me. I was like, whoa, this is fucking insane. Like, this is insane.
And he's regular, you're goofy. That's always a good combo.
No, I'm regular.
Yeah, you're regular, he's goofy. That's
he's
what I meant.
goofy, yeah.
So that's always fun to film a person that, when you're facing.
It's definitely was easier in the beginning, and like now I don't think it really matters. Like for sure for certain features, but like you can usually like figure it out. You just got to kind of like know the camera a little bit for sure.
While we're talking about clips, there's one more I got to bring up, and this is my first personal favorite Gimby clip, and it's the back 3 Stolly does, and then he somehow lands in a tail scrape, and then back 180's out.
Dude,
it's not huge, but I think that's the best clip.
Dude,
I don't know, my favorite clip you've ever filmed.
100%. And it's kind of funny that day too, because like he was trying it, and we weren't filming that day or something. We were just like kind of riding, and then he was trying it, and then he was like, "Yo, can you like film something on your phone?" And I remember like he told me what it was, and I was like, I mean, I could, but I should probably film it on the GoPro, just like so we like have it good. He was like, and I was just like, no, like let's do it. And like 5th try, like laces it, and I was just like, yo, like what? And it was kind of funny because like we thought it was like dope, and then I didn't really think too much of it, to be honest. Like it was like really dope, but I didn't think it was gonna like do what it did. And like we posted it, and there was like 600 comments within like 30 minutes just of like, what is this wizardry and all this shit. And I was just like, whoa, like I get like that's insane that like people are tripping on that. But I think with Stolly, what's rad is he always like he tries to finesse. It's like the technical finesse, you know, that
pure
like
board control.
He's not like where a lot of people like you were talking like in like the James bomb hole. It's like, you know, the judge picks the higher number because it's easier, you know, and that and what I like really respect like Stolly and Torgear and like a lot of the Scandos in general, like they like try and put some finesse on like the gnarly tricks that like, yeah, like sometimes maybe they don't reward you in the judging, but like, yo, you go try and do a back 3 wheelie 180 over a 14. Like most people are going to get the 14. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get that back 3.
The back 3 doesn't seem possible to me.
Yeah.
Like it's mind blowing.
14, understand it,
14, I could understand the evolution of how to get there.
Yo, and like try to ride his board and do that too. Like, I mean, my board's a noodle compared. He's got a stiff. Like that mod was super stiff that year.
Aggressive,
crazy.
Keeps an aggressive board.
Yeah.
How did you guys link up?
Well, like in my Sushi Ray days, I like randomly was busting tables, and like I would just like chat up the tables when the
Sushi Ray was the spot.
Yeah, it was the dude.
Every time I went to Mammoth, we'd go to Sushi Ray
so
with a
good.
huge crew. And
yeah.
Harrison was just saying on the phone before we sat down how he'd always see you. Him and Blum would go in, and you were always working.
Yeah, and they would sit at like the corner of the bar, and Blum would always try and hustle and get rice so he could have free dinner. It was dope.
Sounds about right.
But no, dude, I remember I just like chatted up this one dude, and then like we had like a mutual friend, Gabe Taylor, who was like the marketing guy at Mammoth. And I don't know, like ended up just chatting for 20 minutes, but he was Ryan Everett, who at the time I think he was like sports marketing at Oakley, and he was like, yo, I want to like hire you for Oakley week. This is in December. And I was like tripping. And then like sure enough, like March comes around and like he like held his word. So I think it was like that year was like 2016, and then I did 2017, and on the 2017 shoot, Stale was there, and his board bag didn't make it like the whole shoot, so I didn't really like see him, and I was kind of scared of him. And then at the last night at the like little after party, he was like, hey, you know, I got this project and you might be the guy for the project. Like, you want to go to Europe with me in 2 days? And I had finals week of school, and I was like, well, yeah. And then he got me a plane ticket, and I remember getting out the locks, and I was just like, yo, like, I'm not going to turn in my final projects. Like, I'm just going to put all this effort into Stale. And it was like then and there, I dropped out of school without telling him. And pretty much like, you know, like at that point, it was just like back to like where I was before. And, you know, like I was kind of thinking I was going to get out of snowboarding and like just go find a job. And like, I was like, yo, I'm hearing locks. Like there's Stale, Torgear, Alec, Len. I like grew up watching like the RK1 videos, and like these dudes were like lords to me as like a Grom. Like I'm here, I'm just like gonna take this opportunity and like do what I think is the best thing. And like for me, it was like, you know, school's always gonna be there, but like this crew and this week isn't. So I just like started making Stale videos without him like telling me to. I remember the first night I like didn't sleep and just like made him a YouTube video, and he was like, we didn't even do anything yesterday. And I was like, well, like a couple of these shots were sick, and it was just like a minute 20, and he was like hyped on it. And then like pretty much just like like kind of like convinced him to hire me over like a month. But like we didn't really, I only knew him for like 4 weeks before like we were living together in Norway, which is pretty like, it was like a pretty like quick like
yeah,
we met like one night at a party pretty much, and then like locks for a week. I went home for 2 weeks, and then like I went back I think to shoot like some spring camp, and we started working on lines, which was that project that like he had in mind. But
well, one thing I want to talk about, because the evolution right around lines was also Stale Life,
yeah,
which is technically a vlog.
Yeah.
Now it's a touchy space, we'll call it, because the vlog is is pretty much occupied by fucking cornballs for the most part.
Yeah.
Right. So you're entering this realm of like, when you see the word vlog, people are just like, whack, like, all right, immediately, it doesn't even matter what it is. There's a preconceived notion. I'm speaking from my own personal experience. And you guys, you know, like you go into, I'll be honest, I'll like click it and I'll be like, all right, here we go. We're going into this vlog. I remember watching the first couple, and you're like, you almost, and it ends up like you get sucked in, and you guys do a great job of not making it cornball like for some reason a lot of the other guys are.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely do. Like, I mean, we're making just high quality bullshit, but I think it's like, there's not a lot of platforms right now, you know, like that, like snowboarder's done. Like now you got like Torment, now you got Slush. The platforms that were like Transworld's been gone for a year now, which is like crazy. Like, I think the only thing that people got to think about is like, you kind of got to build your own platform. Like ideally you put out a movie and it like off the bat gets a couple 100,000 views, because that's like how it used to be with Transworld. And that was kind of like my premise with like the Stale Life was like, all right, well, if we can just like put out these simple videos and like build your YouTube platform. Then when we like put out a proper project, we already like got a little fan base, you know? And like, I think too, there's a difference in like maybe what I want to see or what like, you know, like a like core snowboarder wants to see, and then like what your general public wants to see, you know? And like a lot of these like brands, like you got to provide value to them, because if you're not providing value to them, then like, you know, why are they it's a two-way street. If like it's all give from them and you're not doing anything, I don't really see from a business perspective why that brand would necessarily, if they're not getting anything from it. So like with the Stay Life, it's like, you know, it's like a great spot to like advertise Stale, just like Oakley, without saying Oak. It's just like we're filming snowboarding close up, and like people like in the comments, like you'll see like, oh, what jacket is that? What board is that? And like I think like for me is kind of like creating in the beginning, I like you started to see like more and more comments like about the jackets and about this or the music, and I don't know, it's like a way to like build a platform so that you have, you know, options or other avenues later on. And like, you can talk shit on it. I don't fucking care. Like what are you doing? You know, well, like
one thing I got to talk about too, cause I remember, I'll take you through my exact mindset. I remember looking at all the videos of what was out there. Like, and I'm a consumer of a lot of like moto vlogs and other, I watch a lot of this shit, you know, I get sucked into it. And going back to your guys' stuff, I remember I was like, all right, I'm going to do one. I'm going to make one. And last year, or it was last winter, I was like, I'm going to put out a web series, a vlog series, whatever you call it, board slides and banters, what I ended up naming it. And the workload is just psycho. You're like, oh, it's going to be easy. And I've been with you when you're working on Stale Life, you know, and it's just like you film all day, you get home, you sit in front of the computer for 3 hours, you organize all your footage, and then like next day, it's like this like I kind of just want to highlight, people might think it's easy, how fucking hard you work. It's crazy, dude.
It's like gnarly, dude. Like, I mean, I mean, like we haven't, like Stolly and I haven't put out a video, I think, since January 26th, because I've like been mentally burned. I did like 18. I did one for him and one for me a week, the whole real snow period. And like, dude, it's like, it's taxing. And like, I think that's, you know, like a lot of people in the core industry talk shit, but like my question to them is like, try and do a month in my shoes. Like when we get home from the mountain, like I want to go chill and drink beers and smoke weed, but like, if you're gonna be in that hustle mindset, you can't, that's not an option. And you gotta, I think that's like, this last 6 months, probably like the most sober I've ever been. And I think it's like 100% the key to success. Like you can't be hungover. You can't be stoned. Like if you want to be on like the hustle grind and like get shit done, it all is different distractions. And like, I'm not necessarily saying that's the best way to live, but like it is like something that I think can be done cool, you know. Like I have fun making the videos and hustling. Like I think I am in the best mental space when I am hustling like that, because like I don't really like being bored. I like having a to-do list and like checking things off, just because it's something to do, you know. Like I don't know, it's fun.
Chris is big on to-do lists, and now I'm big on them. You have to be, right?
Yeah.
Well,
what you said about platforms, you know, circling back, if you're this rogue video company that's putting out a video once a year, and maybe you're a new company, those guys are getting like 2,000, 5,000 views, not hundreds of thousands of views too. So what you're doing, that's what's up, man. And what you said about offering brands actually some value, I mean, that's why you're so successful, you know?
Right,
yeah,
you know,
doing it
like,
right, organically selling, or not selling, but showing the product and
it's
the
like
lifestyle.
You know, like Stale, it's a finesse, right? Like, you know, like he is like a super like high end snowboarder. He's got like these crazy endorsements, and like, how do you do it in like an organic, like rad way? But like, the thing is there's a lot of like consumers that like really want to know what his like stance or angles are, or like
they feed off
we
it.
We find the same thing here.
Yeah, and like, dude, I mean, I give Stoller, like, dude, like, I remember there's a while, like, him and I thought, I was like, dude, I just, like, want to make him, like, more, like, you know, like, in my head, I was like, oh, I need to make him so, like, the Tyler Ortons and, like, the, you know, like, they want to see it. But at the end of the day, they don't, like,
they're not buying products.
They're not the ones that you're making it for. But I, like, go through, like, this dilemma in my head. It's like, you know, you want to make this, like, sick mini movie, but then you're making a vlog, and, like, it's like a mental battle for me, you know. But, like, I think what is cool is, like, getting the messages from people that are like, yo, like, you inspired me to do this. Or, like, I've gotten so many messages. My favorite is like, yo, I've skied for like 5 years and, like, you guys got me to pick up a snowboard again. Or, like, it's like, that is fucking cool. And, like, if you want to, like, talk shit on our vlog game, cool. But, like, it's to get those messages, that is, like,
it's got
so making a difference.
It's got a bigger impact than a core video. And at the end of the day, we need all of it. We need the core video. We need the ultra niche. We need the backcountry video. We need the vlog. We need the cornball vlog. We need it. We need it all to balance each other out. We like it's just the. Because with it, what else? What would we talk shit on if we didn't have the other? If we didn't have the other aspects? Because
straight up,
at the end of the day, sometimes you got to put people down to feel good about yourself.
True.
I'm just kidding.
We're all guilty of it though. So it's
I mean, a lot of people are haters. But I want to talk about one thing that's fascinating. When you look at people, you know, I've always say, like, play to your strong suits. Figure out what your strong suits are and figure those things out and figure them out early. And go to those and be realistic. And I like how you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make the Olympics. Fuck, I could, but it's like, it seems like it's a lot harder for me than some of these other guys. Well, what am I good at? I'm fucking really good at hitting jumps. I can hit big ass kickers. I love filming. Why don't I go off these big ass kickers and film? And then I just take that same drive that I would for my school, or take that same drive I would for my job or whatever I was going to do, and put it towards this thing. And I don't know. I just think that's cool. Like, figure out your strong suits. And then you didn't say, oh, what are other people doing? Let me do that. You said, oh, I found my own fucking lane. Let's go that way. And I think it's important to figure out your own lane. So
I think, yeah, I mean, it's like super, like, hard. Like I said, I was, like, super lost. I didn't think, like, there was a whole, like, season I like did follow camps, but, like, I didn't end the season with, like, this is the thing, you know? Mm-hmm. I ended it with, like, well, like, the company that was paying me a little bit of money for the last 6 months dropped me. My last paid shoot is, like, this Oakley week. And then, like, in that time, I, like, had no other monetary way of making money through snowboarding. So I was like, okay, well, like, my friend is, like, kind of, like, the head of the media agency in New York City. And, like, I was talking with him, and I, like, had a job offer to, like, go live there. They were going to, like, health insurance, pay me a little, and, like, let me stay at one of their, like, company's apartments. So I was like, dude, this is a sweet gig. Like, for New York City, you're broke, but, like, it's a job, you know? Like, and I figured, like, you know, my parents would be down with that. And, you know, like, it's crazy what life will do sometimes, because I had that, and then I literally met Stale, like, 2 days later, and then, like, my whole life, like, and shout out to Stale, because, like, like, that dude created Gimbal God. Like, he straight up, like, paid out of his savings for, like, 2 years of me traveling and salary. Like, I don't know, like, I pretty much don't really know anyone that I think would have, like, done the sacrifice he did for that long to, like, make his vision, you know, like, which is, like, pretty sick. Like, he didn't go to sponsors and be like, yo, I got this idea for, like, he was just like, nope, we're doing it. And, like, Torsten's done it, like, Mark's done it, but, like, it's very few, like, people that have just, like, sacked up and been like, yo, like, we're on. Like, I don't need to go talk to my companies. And I think, you know, like, that says something about, like, his passion and drive to, like, create the best shit in snowboarding, which is, like, kind of fucking cool.
It's really smart of him too, man, to have you doing that.
Yeah, like, I mean, at the time, I didn't see it, right? You know, I was just like, holy shit, I'm like I'm talking to Stala, like, in the beginning, right? Like, and you know, I think looking back, yeah, it was a good business decision, but like I'm in debt to him for life. Like if anyone calls me and wants to do a shoot, but like Stale has like something bigger that he really wants done, like, I mean, cards are always going to go to him. No, for sure. Like, and like, I think, you know, like I've gotten super confused over like the last years at certain points, like when people have been asking and like, I'm like, you know, but I think at the end of the day, it's just like, I love working with that dude. It's like, he's got such a like creative vision. Like he said it one day, it's like, he's really the creative and I'm like the engineer that like can like take what's in his mind and put it on paper. But like, I don't know, like it's fun working with people who are motivated too. Like there's a different blood in the water in Norway. Like they're fucking, it's just a different breed of humans. And like, they're all so on point, like so motivated, so hardworking. And I've been like super stoked and fortunate to like be able to like have those experiences over there with him and his family and like the whole crew.
I've heard a quote you've said that something along the lines of you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with or something like that.
Yeah. Like I truly, I believe in that. And it's like, you know, usually like the circle of people like around you is either going to bring you up or bring you down. And like, I think for a while in that period where I like didn't know what was up or what was down, it was like, I didn't really have that circle of people around me. And like, to be honest, a lot of them super rad people in Mammoth, but like, you know, I don't think they were the people to like bring me into like where I wanted to go career wise. You know, it was like a lot of chilling, a lot of smoking weed and a lot of drinking. And it's like, dude, like I was broke. I couldn't afford to go to Lakanuki, you know, like I could barely pay for quesadillas. Like what the fuck am I doing buying like even a $5 PBR or whatever, you know, like dude, like your mind is just like not there. And, you know, I think when I linked up with Stale, it was like I started like getting put in the circle with like these crazy accomplished people. And I was just like, I felt like dead weight. I was just like, well, like, dude, like they're in the gym, like I gotta be on the computer. And like I think like the first year of like working with Stale, like straight up probably like averaged like 4 hours of sleep, which I'm not saying, like James said it best in the last one, like sleep is the number one thing. But like I think there's a time and a place to like really hustle. And like for me it was like those early years and there, you know, everything comes in waves, you know, like, but I think though, like just being with his crew and like how hard everyone worked. And like, dude, the only people he's filmed with is like Frode Sandbeck and like Olav, you know, like the two gnarliest, like it, like in my mind, like Olav is insane, dude. Like that dude can work harder than like anyone. And like Frode is like so like
his brother is a legendary photographer for
very talented.
Yeah.
Dude, like so talented and so on point. And I was just scared of Frode. I was you know, like I was just like I didn't want to deal with Frode, so I was just gonna like work as hard because like I felt like if they saw me working as hard as I could, they couldn't like say I wasn't doing the best work. But that, yeah, like
think about how stoked they were to find someone that was willing to work as hard as you were. I mean, they must have been just hyped.
I mean, like I can't speak for them, but like I think I'm just so grateful. Like I felt like a kid in a candy shop, like that first year getting to shoot with, like, I don't know, like I remember growing up in Mammoth and it's like my friend crew, like there were a couple guys who like idolized Stale, you know, like in the back in the day, it was like Mark and Stale for like a while there in the contest scene, you know, like I remember going in Australia, I think Stale wasn't there because he had the knee injury or like something, but like he was there one of the prior years. And I just remember like seeing like the way he does a crippler or like how simple a back 10 is. Like him and Mark would just like lace all the tricks that were like on my list. I'm just like, how the fuck did they do it so easy?
Dude, he's the one who I think of when I think of initiating backside. The way he takes off a lip is like the best fundamentals I've ever seen. But also, I want to just highlight the fact that I've done a bunch of filming in my life. I think we probably all have filmed our friends over the years and done follow cams, and it's one thing to film your buddy try a line like 30 times. It's like pretty good. It's a whole nother beast to be follow camming Stale when he's just like doing a back 3 tail scrape, back 1, or it makes the job a lot more fun, huh?
Dude, I just like the clip is the bonus, but like getting the front row seat to some of this shit, like when it all works out for me off the lip and like we're perfectly like 2-3 feet away, whatever, or at least the camera is from them, and I'm just like, yep, it's a clip, but like, yo, like Torgeir is doing the most tweaked switchback 5 method ever right now. Or like the one I posted the other day, like the switchback 5 method at X Games, and it's just like we both just land and like look at each other. It's like there's no questions. It worked. The camera's still recording, and like I think that like I remember like X Games bigger this year. Like, dude, the amount of like force and energy that like Renee and Sven had on the lip of that jump, it like freaks me out sometimes because I'm just chilling. I'm just like doing a straight air, But you're almost like you're like engulfed in like how much freaking pop and like dude, I'm pretty sure they did a 720 before I even like blinked. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like,
dude, how is that when you talk about like kind of mastering your craft? One thing that kicks ass is that like you start this kind of gimbal follow cam thing. Which, side note, is there a long lens god? Or is there a static cam god? Because is that handle taken? Because
I don't know.
Yeah, where did this name come from?
Joe Carlino and Mike
Really?
Yoshida. Yeah,
Yoshida.
the blackboard test, dude. Like,
Oh, that's where it came at that sheet.
yeah, and I was pissed because like I was at the top with Sage and Bridges would radio in and like be like Gimbal God dropping or like Josh and Carlino would say that. And then I remember just like, these fuckers are making fun of me. Like, but I wasn't going to say anything. And then in the office, I was like kind of like my nickname a little bit. And then Mia Daniel, I was like thinking like my account name was Spencer Whiting. And then it was like, I was trying to be like the fucking cliche travel influencer. And I'd like post like a photo of San Diego, be like 100 likes. And then I'd like post like a follow cam and it'd be like a couple hundred likes, which was like insane at the time. And I was like, fuck, like all people really want to see her. Like I kind of want to change my channel to like only snowboarding. And I had like a list of names. And then on the first video that like Stale and I posted from Locks, Mia Danielle commented #Gimbal God. And I immediately went to my account and changed it. I was like, it's there. Like, that
Just
works.
own it, right?
And then, like, I remember stalling, and then we're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, even the girl I was hanging out at the time, who's, like, still my girlfriend to this day, was just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, and I felt like it was okay because I didn't. Like, it's not like I claimed that.
Yeah,
it was like they did it, and I was just like, fuck it. Well, it worked. It's like I liked it because it was like kind of short.
I can hear Carlino right now, though, being like, this guy's rocking a gimbal. We got Gimbal God over here.
Yeah, straight up.
Might as well just own it, right?
Now, Sage, I love when Sage is always going, Gimby. Like,
dude,
it just became Gimby.
Dude, well, the first one, like that, after the blackboard thing, like before the internship, I went to Australia again, but this is to shoot for GoPro, and it was like my first ever like paid job. And Sage, I remember like I was at the top of the park, he's coming up the T-bar, he was just like, Gimbal! It was the first time I'd heard it, and I was like, oh god, like this is what it's gonna be.
Let's talk about the Ikon Season Pass.
They are launching their new season passes for the 21-22 season. Own the season, own the stories, own the stoke. Now, there are more than 40 unique Ikon Pass destinations. One of my favorites being Brighton Resort.
One of my favorites also, Snowbird.
With the exclusive spring savings, including special pricing for the 2021 pass holder renewals, savings on passes for kids, and a new payment plan for how much, buds?
$0 down and 0%. APR.
Right now, take advantage of limited springtime pricing, including the Ikon Pass. For how much, buds?
$999 is the adult price.
That unlocks the most days, the most mountains, and, super important, no blackout dates. They also have the Ikon Base Pass. For how much, buds?
$729 for adults.
That opens up a season of adventure with limited blackout dates. And lastly, they have the Ikon Pass 4-day. How much is that, buds?
The adult price is only $399.
That allows you to kickstart your ride. Also, you get credits in the event of a COVID-19 closure with the option to defer the value of an unused pass, no questions asked. Every moment spent in the mountains is a new opportunity for discovery and connection because as the mountains connect us, these unique communities are what hold us together. Here at the Bomb Hole, we deeply care about communities, huh, buds?
Community is all we got.
Own the season, own the stories, own the stoke. Discover pass options and claim your moments in the mountains at iconpass.com. All right, Gimby, I think it's time for a little special part of the show. We almost skipped it. Buds, you know what part of the show we're talking about?
Name that video part.
Here we go. Well, Gimby, you're a student of the game.
Dude, I've been stressing about this one for a clean week.
0 to 10% confidence levels.
The clean one.
Clean one.
Clean one.
That's a respectable answer.
It is
bud.
a respectable answer. Because we've gotten some 0.5s in here.
Yeah, we've had a couple negatives.
0.2s, negative 4s.
I got like a 1%, you know?
A 1%.
Or no, I'll give myself 10%.
I queued this one up. I thought you might know it. We don't know. Here we go. Let's try. He doesn't look confident for those listening.
I don't look... dude, I'm so bad with this.
You want it one more time?
Yeah. I feel like I just heard this too.
It's not particularly recent. I will say it's like one of the more bigger iconic videos ever made. The band is M83, if that helps you. I know one production company like to use them more than others.
Dude, I'm so bad. I don't even want to guess because I don't want to get it wrong.
I feel like I could almost take a stab at this.
Take a stab. We'll beep it out.
Take a stab.
Knowing you, I don't know this song. It's
no, that's not correct.
okay.
No,
I just
it's
figured
not
sometimes you throw
solid.
some serious.
Dude, why am I so bad at this?
You want me to tell you what it is?
Is it Euro or US?
It's U.S. Say Red Bull has a heavy influence in this project. This man just put on a contest that is
Now it gets
in
real.
powder.
It's a rice part, but from what movie?
That's correct. There we go. Just need a little bit.
What movie is that from?
That's it. That's all. The Ender section. T. Ricky, slow-mo, M83. So what we have here is a bomb hole cooler filled with bomb hole merch, all available at bombhole.com. We're going to give you that one, Spenny. Here, take your...
I don't deserve it, but thank
it's
you.
a participation award.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No one goes home a loser.
Yeah. We got you some XL sweatpants in there, which are also available at bombhole.com.
Legends.
For part 2, you guys know the drill. Comment on the photo of Spenny on Instagram when this episode comes out and give your guess, and you'll get yourself a little sticker pack from Stony Buds and us over at the Bomb Hole. Here we go. Thank you guys for playing. Name that video part. Okay, I want to kind of stay on topic what we were talking about before, and if you take where you're at, you hit your rock bottom. Next thing you know, you're at fucking X Games doing follow cams off the big air jump, and you're basically a spectacle, just like one of the riders. And can we talk about is that process at the top? Somebody's doing a, whatever crazy trick on the big air jump, and you're following them. Are you nervous? What's going on at the top there?
It's kind of funny because I think it was maybe 2019 X Games. Red came up to me because he wasn't doing bigger, I don't think. And he's like, you nervous? And I was like, no. Because for me, it's not really like, I don't really mind. I don't really notice the other people going on, but I kind of like it. Because even this year, it's like, I was filming Sven when he did like the Cab 18, and it just kind of feels like a film session, you know? Like and we filmed together so much before the contest that like when it's just like this weird, like kind of like mental thing where I feel like we just connect, and it's just like, okay, I'm there, you do your thing. And then like, you know, we both know we got the clip at the end of it. Because I had the GoPro on the broadcast cam this year, so we like I don't know. It's not really too much nerves. The only thing I get nervous about is like this big air jump this year was like pretty burly, dude.
It's huge.
A lot of air time, and I got like no one saw it because it was in practice, but I got bodied on the jump in the girls' practice, dude. Straight bodied, little headwind.
We're talking Nuck City.
No, just like. Over the nose, like the wind started pushing me, and I just like pretty much like landed super toe heavy and just like pancaked the landing. Sucked.
Well, it's good that wasn't on national television.
Yeah, ideally.
The announcers are talking about you all the time too. That's always fun to listen to. And we have Gimbal God.
Really, I don't.
Yeah,
I haven't watched the broadcast yet, but I probably should.
Is there still that skier that does what you do too? Remember that guy?
There's a.
Oh yeah, yep.
The OG dudes.
The OG.
Yeah, dude. The OG dudes are there. And it's kind of sick to meet them because I like back in the day watched them like in X Games, like not thinking like I was gonna end up being that dude. Yeah. But like I was more wanting to be on the jump.
But do they give you the nod or what? Or
yeah, they're super dope. They're super cool.
Not to cut them down a peg, but let's cut them down a peg because skiing, you got to think you're facing forward. So if you're spinning either way, it's easy. Well, when you're regular and somebody's spinning, like you're filming behind you sometimes. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, like I was filming Bodie off the jumps at Woodward the other day, and every time he would go, it's easy when he goes left to right, but right to left, I would fuck up the shot every time.
It's a finesse for sure. Like, I mean, it's kind of funny because like a lot of the people I've shot with are goofy, just like by chance, but like Renee's regular. There's advantages to both, but sometimes with regular riders, like shooting in front is a little easier. Like you just get a better angle, like looking back sometimes, but or just, I mean, I just ride switch. Like, and before my knee, I was trying to get good at switch straight airs.
Oh my God.
And like,
that's terrifying.
Like, I remember there's a week in Whistler, I just only did switch straight airs, and like I'm not like there comfortable enough to like I would say like film it switch, but like hopefully like one day, because then if you can ride switch just as well, then it doesn't matter.
And that skier can't go backwards, huh?
I think, dude, like,
oh, does he?
No,
I was just saying, like, imagine filming backwards off the just going in front cam, looking backwards behind you.
Dude, I think like when people are like, "Oh, skiing's easier to film," it's like, dude, I don't know. Like, I think it's you just need to be good at whatever you're doing on snow, right? Like to forget about the filming or like forget about the riding, because like I think when you just are facing a dude, right? Like on a skis, you'd have to have your head turned the whole time, but like I can kind of like look that way and at the rider at the same time.
Are you? So this is what I want to know, because when I'm doing this, I'm not looking at I'm looking at the knuckle. Are you looking at the rider, or are you looking at where you're going on the jump? Because I'm always looking at the landing.
I'm low key like terrified of hitting the jumps by myself. Like if I'm with like Stale, Torgear, Stage, like whoever, could be anyone I'm usually like filming is freaking insanely talented at snowboarding, and like I just put the trust in them. It's like, you handle the speed, but I'll be like right here.
But in the air, what I'm saying is in the air, are you, after you take off, are you looking at where you're going, or are you looking over at the rider?
No, like full rider.
You're just looking at the rider.
Yeah.
So you're just trusting that you're going to hit the sweet spot, and you don't really know quite.
You just know like off the lip. You know?
You do. Yeah.
You just like that first second, or like not even second, like millisecond, you just know. And if it's chill, like in a perfect world, I like never look at the landing, and it's just like make sure
that's why I'm missing all these shots. I'm trying to look at the landing,
which
and I'm not even
filming.
Think
about the landing though.
Yeah,
that's the
you got to be thinking about filming.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have a head cam clip, and this tripped me out because I didn't even know it. But I was filming Sven from in front in New Zealand, and I actually had my head turned back looking at him before I went off the lip. And then I like looked forward to like know I was gonna make it, and then like looked back at him to like frame it, looked forward, and then like landed looking back at him. But like that is
you're on some psycho shit.
It's all milliseconds.
Like, but like, dude, think right. Like I turned my head 3 times. Like dude's doing a triple cork just like that. And at least
everyone's head's moving 3 times.
At least I'm just like on one level. Like I'm gonna land on my feet probably, but. It's definitely.
You should actually just practice like when you're not filming. You just go off the jump and you just look back both ways.
Dude, I'm not even kidding you. I've like low key practiced like hitting big jumps and just like looking like
where you're gonna look.
Just not looking at the landing, like or just like focusing on like the mountain over there, and then like just because then it's not as hard when you.
That's
go
dope
to do
that
the
you hone in on your craft. Well, let's talk about the evolution of, you paving your own lane. Ultimately, you kind of start getting into the filming game, and then you get this kind of weird, elusive contract with Monster where you're kind of a rider, you're kind of like you're kind of both, right? You have this kind of like person, you're a Monster athlete and filmer, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty insane. Just like huge shout out to like Dresser and Hodges for like believing in Stale and I's like idea. And then just like, it's pretty crazy to like have, like a monthly paycheck or whatever. And like there's like deliverables in there, like at the events, I like everything is like, strictly Monster. I can't work for like Red Bull or Rockstar, but it's like pretty crazy because they kind of gave me the opportunity to like have the freedom to be as creative as I want. And I think that's something that like every photographer, videographer like strives for. And the fact that like Dresser has like allowed me to like create these videos with like very loose rules. Like he's not like, yo, like we need X, Y, and Z. He's like, yo, go to Norway, film something dope, and send it to me. And like, I think that's like pretty rad to have that freedom. And I just do my work to where they have their deliverables and are stoked at the events and when we do shoots. And it's pretty crazy to like get to snowboard too. Like a lot of people are like, oh, like you need a snowboard for yourself. It's like, dude, like I snowboard a lot for myself, which is like crazy to me to like have that opportunity. And like I couldn't be more grateful for like Sean Messing, Dresser, Hodges, Davey Schmidt, and like Dennis Dusseldorp from Battalion. Like all those guys have enabled me to pursue this crazy, like I don't know if you call it a snowboard career or whatever it is, but like I never would like I said earlier, like I gave up on snowboarding. Like I was ready to go to New York City. Pro snowboarding was like so far out the door for me, and like to be able to still be here and like get to snowboard is a trip. Like even the other day at Woodward, like we were cruising.
He was hitting some fat crip dogs in the pipe. Yeah, to highlight, how smart the guys over at Monster are for picking you up and doing that. Like I think this was explained to me by Hodges one time, but it's genius in the sense that like if you look, a lot of companies, they spend a lot of money to sponsor a video project, and they spend like big bucks to do a huge project and fly people all around the world all winter. And we need those projects that are actually very important to the culture of snowboarding and everything, the fabric of snowboarding. I'm not trying to cut those down, but it's really smart because like one of my favorite things you guys have ever done is when you went to that sunset shoot in, where is that, Norway?
Yeah.
And, you basically Monster was like, we're just going to film these guys chuck fucking ass on a sunset jump with Gimby and just get the most incredible footage of like Sage front flipping and doing a wave, and then Stale doing like the back 7 grab switch, and Heldor's doing double flips. And it's just this like
memorable,
unbelievable. And I mean, probably got hundreds of thousands of views. I don't know.
Dude, it's funny. like how you worded that shoot and how that shoot actually happened. Because that was pre-Monster.
Oh, it was?
That was what got me on Monster.
Oh, no way.
Like basically I was with Stale the whole season. I flew home on a Wednesday, and like Stale and I were planning to go to Fauna to shoot the ender for lines. And then I land in San Diego. I'd been in Norway for like a month. Land in San Diego. I'd rented an Airbnb for 2 weeks. I was like going to chill with like my girlfriend and hang. And I land to 3 texts. One from Stale, like, yo, weather looks good in Fauna this weekend. One from Messing, like, yo, are you going to Fauna this weekend? Like, I heard Sage and Sven are trying to set up a shoot. And then another from Davey Schmidt, like, yo, like, Sven, like, Fauna looks good. And I had just landed like a 20-hour travel day. And I'm like, no way. And I go and hang out with Sage and like this like Wednesday. And like we book flights for Saturday. So I go to my Airbnb for like 3 days. And then I'm pretty sure Baden, Brandon, and the boys just like took over my Airbnb that I paid for, and Encinitas and partied, and Tommy, their buddy. And then like went back to Fauna, and Sage and I, dude, we traveled like, I think it was 32 and a half hours from door to like straight to Fauna. Haldor picked us up and we were straight to the shoot. And like, it was just like best vibe, perfect weather. And GoPro had paid for me to go shoot the Hero 7 campaign. So like I had to do 2 GoPro shoot days, and then we had 2 more shoot days. And it was just like, dude, people didn't fall. It was just like everything was happening and perfect weather. And then I think we shot like 4 days, and then the boys left, and then Stale and I went up, and we shot the ender for lines after that. And then basically Stale and I made this like edit for him. And then we showed that to Monster, and they were like, yo, like, how about you just like, we're going to like, basically they got the lines project that like Stale and I had been filming, and we were going to finish that. And like my first deal was like, we get lines, and then you're going to make this golden hour video for us, and we're going to post that in December. And that was like the first contract, really. It was like I filmed at the events. They got lines, they got golden hour, and then we did like a New Zealand like little like team like POW edit or whatever. But like that is crazy though. Like how it looks.
It seemed like it was the other way around. They
it
were like
was
hired
by
you.
chance,
Yeah,
dude.
that's killer.
They didn't even know. Like they knew Sven. The whole shoot was for Sven and like his documentary. And like that was Sven wanted to do a fauna shoot. Stale wanted to do one, and weather just was so perfect. Like you kind of just got to be in Oslo, and when it gets good, go there. So like all of us just combined, and like pretty much it was like not luck, but like just right place, right time, like all happened.
Dude, one thing, well, you've been talking a lot about lines. If the viewers or listeners haven't seen that, it's a incredible execution of kind of cinematography, conceptualizing something and executing it that's different and unseen. Do you want to explain the concept for people that haven't seen it or don't know what familiar with, and then the process in making that?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of like, you got your main trick, and then you always have to have like a beginning and end to that. And like the whole concept that like Stale had, like Stale fully was the one who thought of this. And then I was like the engineer that put it together, because that was what he originally hired me to create, was like this endless follow cam that like starts out, and whether it's like an ollie or like mid spin or a hand drag, it was like you'd essentially like end the clip with that and then recreate it at the beginning of the next clip. So like if you do it right, and like you kind of like, for me, I got to remember like, okay, I was like at this angle, there's that shadow over there, sun's up there. Like you kind of want to line things up so it's like you're not like going too off. So like ideally the viewer doesn't really notice you change shots. And that like was Stale's idea, and that's kind of what we tried to do. I think it was like we started shooting, and then he was supposed to go to Super Park. Stale got deported from the US. We went to Fauna for like 2 weeks, and it rained. So it was like, it ended up turning into like, I think it was like 2 years.
Multi-year project.
Yeah, it was, but we never told anyone about it. So it was just like, this is like our little like baby we were not really talking about. And then it was just like, I think we shot like maybe 20 days for it over like the 2-year period. So there was a lot of like, there was like the 2018 Olympics and like a couple like it gets hard just with the different kind of obligations that he's got for the brands for us just to do a video part. So it was kind of like this little like secret thing. When the weather was good, we'd be like, maybe we shoot for it today.
Let's get into our favorite clip film, presented by our friends over at 10 Barrel and Pub Beer. Pub Beer supports us. You should support them. Their tagline is cheap, fun beer. Now, Gimbal God, do you have a favorite clip filmed?
Yeah, I got a favorite. I feel like, on topic of the fauna shoot, the front follow in lines that Stale and I got, where it's like we were just so close. Like if we were like an inch closer, he would have like taken my head off. Like we had like a BTS angle, but I don't know. That's just my favorite. Like so much He goes like front 5 stale to method, and like
oh god,
it's just got so much like finesse.
Trick.
Like it's small, but like so much going on. I don't know. That's probably like, and lighting was just ideal. I'm a sucker
that
for
film location's just insane.
I'm a sucker for sunsets.
Yeah, I think we all are a little bit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think it might be time for a little bit of some hot takes.
Yes, hot takes.
Okay, who you got for Michael Jordan of snowboarding?
Well, I feel like a dick because I missed his part name, but T-Rice for sure.
Okay, let's give out. See, Ricky gets a little air horn. What do you think about the old beaver slap when you're in the lift line and you got your snowboard?
My knees gets so sore. I gotta slap that shit before I get the snow off.
Okay, what do you think about 1800s these days?
I definitely wouldn't do one.
What do you think about when people do the edge drag with their snowboard across the parking lot instead of carrying it?
If it's on snow, it's chill, but if it's on concrete, like, yo, that shit's expensive.
What do you think about roids in competitive snowboarding?
I know your stance on it. I kind of back it too, dude. If we're going the 1800 route, fuck it. Let's go 24.
Is that what the next one is? What's after 18? 21? 2160?
I'm no good at math, dog. I need a calculator after 18.
I think there's a 19 and maybe like a, I don't fucking. Dude,
because it's every 180. So 18.
Every 180.
When we get into the 2000s,
it just gets too crazy.
It's a lot. It's pretty close to aerial skiing these days.
Mm-hmm. Aerial skiing kind of died though, so we got to be careful.
Yeah, we don't want
to
be
careful.
I don't want to kill it.
Like, I don't want to go into this too much, but I just feel like big air. We did it. Let's move on. Let's like bring back the quarter pipe or like something. I don't know.
QPs are always dope. I got a hot take that came in the form of a Patreon question.
Okay.
How do you feel about drones? Do you have any beef with them, or are you threatened by them? That's from Magic Narwhal.
Little drone. That's a great question.
Beef. He's basically the human drone.
Is there drone beef?
No, there's no drone beef. I mean, like, I think there's, you just don't go too crazy, you know, like with the FPV ones. If you can keep a nice line.
That one,
racing
Torstein video he first put out where they were a little bit much,
but he kind of like
they figured it out.
A lot of slow mo in the last video, but I'd say like the drone shots, like there was one of Verney. I think it was like one of the only like full speed clips, but like I think that was probably the best drone shot ever done. And shouts to that dude, Gabe. I think it's like
drone guy Gabe.
Yeah, drone.
Yeah, dude, natural selection.
I mean, they were on point live.
Dude, he's flying that shit live.
Yeah, like, that's never even been done.
Dude, through the trees. Like,
can we get Gimby out there for Natty Slag?
Yeah,
just getting white out films, just
white out films, bomb holes everywhere.
Dude, I did one lap with Zoe at the end, and I got so bodied.
Oh, you did?
We went way too slow into the. I like the whole week. I like didn't look at the course to ride because I was like. I didn't want to like have that like bumness, you know? And then when it was like, oh, like we can ride it, I had no idea what to fucking look at. I was like, I haven't like thought about riding it. And It's got bodied. Shit's hard. I'm still a rookie in the POW.
Going back to the drones, it does suck because those features are big. I'm sure, and the drone, you're like, oh, I could hit that. I'm sure if you're strapped in, staring down at it, it's steeper, it's bigger, it's gnarlier than it looks, right?
Yeah, dude, it's huge. Like it's and Zoe said that because like we stopped at a couple spots and she's like, whoa, it's so like weird stopping on this course, like looking around, and I think. That's the thing. It's like drones, the gimbal follow. There's a time and a place, right? Like I think drones make a lot of shit look super insane that there's no other way you would make it look like that. And then I think sometimes the follow cam gives you a little more like personal, like feel like you're more there because like the drone will kind of be like looking down a little and it can make things look small, but also can be super useful.
What do you think about people hating on energy drinks?
I mean, like, I think that it's, if you look at an energy drink from like what they've done for all these different sports and like just take like Monster, like what they've done for snowboarding and like events they've hosted and like X Games and like all these things that like have brought the sport to like more people and the masses, like that's pretty freaking rad. Like, yeah, I don't think you should be drinking like super caffeinated, sugary drinks all the time, but like I think if you like look beyond the product and look at like the core values of the brand, like it's pretty sick to see like all these different companies that have like supported this crazy career of us sliding on stupid pieces of wood down a hill, you know, like that's pretty crazy.
Everything in moderation, right?
Straight up.
That's a great point. Buds, you got something?
I have a Patreon question.
Yeah, hit it.
So this is a two-parter question for the one and only fun guy. He calls you. In your opinion, what's the biggest mistake follow cam filmers make? And his second part, actually, we've already answered. So we'll just go with part one. What's the biggest mistake other follow cam filmers make, and do you have any advice for them?
I mean, I think it's just get like your snowboarding or skiing or like however you're doing it. I'd recommend snowboard. I think it's a obvious point there, but I don't know. I just get good at the riding aspect, and then it's like the filming kind of like comes pretty second nature. Like know the tricks, know like what angles.
I would like to see some of these really good filmers attempt some of these gimbal follows and see what happens.
I mean, you're kind of the one and only that does it. You know, you're the
dude. It's
you're
kind
owning
of,
the
it's,
space.
It's kind of crazy because like there's like a few skiers for sure who are like super good, but like there's not like a snowboarder yet that like is just doing it like this like it's always like a skier with a snowboarder or like someone. I'd like to see another snowboarder.
You're the only one, right?
No, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of groms for sure.
There's also I got to give a shout out to some of the other like street snowboard filmers that
There's
are
some good
doing
ones.
it. Like you look at like, you know, Tanner Pendleton.
Dude.
And you know Harry Hagen and who I'm gonna forget, like Colton that does Dustbox, and there's just tons and tons of really good. Oh, Hayden, he made all the lifts videos, and there's tons of incredible follow cams in there, and so I think there's like a lot of really good street follow cameras that are. It's more of an art of the lens, like skateboarding, but it's not necessarily like flying off a wedge, but that shit's dope.
Well, even dude, like I just watched like Evergreen again last night, and like some of like in that, I don't know, like for me, I love that aesthetic so much, and it's so different. I would like say that's like a full totally different thing to like fall in the streets than like something else, because it's freaking hard. There's concrete, there's buildings, there's weird rails, poles. Like we did a couple street follows for Real Street or Real Snow, and like super hard. Like, and that's like a whole, and like to have like I know Tanner shoots on a lot of film, or like the bigger like Death Lens or whatever. That's like a full finesse. And like I have so much respect for all the different like styles of cinematography, but like at the end of the day, if you're able to like create this really rad movie that like flows and looks good, and like you kept them in the frame. Like shooting fish is like that's a whole other realm in itself, you know. And like a lot of people think it's easy, but like I think shooting fish is almost harder than long lens, like video, and I'm sure photo. Like to get
photo's
them
not as tough,
but to get them to like use the frame is like
get it used properly,
and like keep the angle like lower than you think, but like you don't want them to go out of frame. Like,
what I love was watching the filmers get ready practicing.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the wide angle.
You
You see them over there doing their motion, getting it all right. I love watching that.
I did a lot of that.
Yeah, you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about clip high, because as a rider, when you land a trick, you get a fucking clip high.
I bet
and
this guy.
Photographer gets a clip high. And then I've done
Next
some
level.
follow cams, and you can fuck up a really good shot, but when you make it, you probably get the same clip high as the rider.
Dude, I think I get more clip high than I do like landing a trick. Like I'm so stoked when it all works out, because like it's funny, back in the day, like people used to like, everyone thought it was like, who's that fucking guy at, I think it was X Games 2015 with like the long stick and the pole. Like everyone like vibed me out, you know? And then like now it's funny to like see everyone doing it, but like I was back then, I was just like so stoked. I was like, and like people, I'd like ask, hey, do you want to shoot a clip? And they're like, oh, like give me a couple, like let me warm up. And now it's like, yo, like let's film this trick. But I also feel this like responsibility where it's like, fuck, like you're trusting me to do that gnarly thing. Like I can't fuck it up. And like I always say like I might, like I don't, you know, like because we're both kind of snowboarding, but when it all comes together, that's like, I don't know. That's like my like drug. Like
that's your clip
So
high.
you'd say you're
so
a
sick.
clip high addict.
Oh, for sure.
You
for
see,
sure,
it's
addict.
you know who was like with our group, like Scotty Stevens and Bodie, or some of my good friends. We throw the term around clip high all the time, and you'll see like Bodie will come home, he's on cloud 9. And you're like, is this guy on a fucking clip high over here? What's going on? Like,
Obviously got a good shot today.
He's got a good clip, huh?
Dude, yeah. I get like over click. That's when I like start on like, I get on the up. You know, like Stolly, I'll just start saying 9 million things. He's like, chill out, calm
Chill
down.
out, man. You're on a clip high, dude. Just take it easy.
Full clip.
Relax.
Yeah.
Bring her back down to earth.
Yep.
Dude, the kind of perspective that's cool with, you know, diving back into some of the vlog type of stuff is there's almost, I don't know if you take this into consideration, but you're almost bringing the audience along with you. It feels like it's like when you're watching, you're like, oh, I could be hanging out with these guys. And then to fast forward to the follow cams, that perspective of the way you guys film, you know, when you're watching a clip on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and it's filmed with the gimbal or whatever, GoPro Hyper Smooth or whatever it is, and it's right there, you really feel like you're like a part of the action. And that's, I don't know, it's just a cool kind of changing like perspectives than how it used to be watching videos, huh? Yeah,
I mean, I by no means think that is the way to shoot snowboarding, but I think it is, like if you take like all of our industry and our friends out of the equation, right? And like you're going to show this to my mom or like your friend's mom. Like even like I showed my girlfriend some of like the gnarlier clips in our real snow, and she's like, "Oh, like I don't get it." You know, like, and I think the handrails and like even like the long lens like gnarly Alaska shit, to like average people, they don't understand how gnarly that is. And I think the thing with the closer up stuff is like it gives them a sense for like maybe that's what it's like to be there doing that, because it's like with them. And that's just like from my little experience talking to a few people. But I think the raddest thing is like when people can like mold all that together to make it flow, to give you the whole perspective and like the whole picture. That's like probably like the thing that I want to strive for the most, like going forward. But I think it's just a way for like, and at the end of the day, we want more people to snowboard, right? Like,
great point.
And that angle brings them along for the ride.
Yeah,
I feel like it.
Especially even like a X Games slope course preview with the GoPro. You're like, fuck, I'm in the mix with these guys.
Yeah, I'm here.
Dude, one thing we breezed over is Did you have any interesting hobbies as a kid? I got a little intel from Stale saying that you might have had some interesting hobbies as a kid.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, so I lived in New York, and my mom loves animals, and dude, we had like 50 animals. I'm not even kidding. We had like chickens, we had birds, we had turtles, hermit crabs, lizards, but snakes were kind of my shit, dude. Like, and it's hilarious now because I'm terrified of snakes.
He's a snake guy. He's a snake guy,
dude. I was full
Slytherin.
snake guy, and it's funny because we moved to California, and I was like 7, and a little apartment, like I think it was like a 900 square foot apartment. And we had 3 corn snakes, 2 ball pythons, a red-tailed boa, and albino Burmese python. That my mom every summer would like take me to the reptile expo. I could get 1 snake, and I was like, dude, because she was always talking like, we were gonna move out of the apartment, we were gonna get a house, and I was always like, I was like my mom, my sister, myself, and then I was like, well, we need a 4-bedroom house because like the 4th bedroom can be like the room for like
the snake
albino Burmese python.
I
had it all mapped. I had it all mapped out, dude. I was looking at like these custom enclosures, and mind you, I'm 8 years old, like on the internet, like
planning your snake's home.
Yeah, dude. I was such a fucking idiot. And then I go to this expo with my mom, and I knew exactly what was up. My mom has no idea what the hell this thing is, but like it's a little baby, like 1 foot yellow, like beautiful little like snake thing. And I like pick it up. I'm like, Mom, like this one. I knew exactly. She had no idea these motherfuckers grow to 17 feet long. Dude,
it was this cute little snake.
Dude, it grew so fast. Like in a month, it was 4 feet, and then like in 6 months, I think it was like 9 feet long. My mom's tripping because like we had to like start feeding it, like you're supposed to feed it rabbits, but like my mom was like, fuck no, like no way am I feeding it a rabbit. So she'd feed it the frozen mice. And I remember one day, dude, I put my head in the cage because first of all, I was looking for the snake, and its name was Butterscotch. And dude, I was like looking for it, and I couldn't find it in its cage, and I like put my head, and dude, I look up, and it's like there's like a shelf above the sliding glass, and it's chilling up there, wedged in there, and it fucking strikes at my head. All trust gone, just done.
Anaconda 3 going on here.
I never touched Butterscotch, and I just
shout out to Butterscotch.
I just watched for like 6 months as this thing grew, and then I think we were trying to give it to the zoo, and then we eventually gave it to the Oceanside like pet store, like reptile store. And dude, like I'm terrified of snakes now. Like that
after it tried to eat you,
dude. It fully tried to, because it was all nice and shit. And then when it's 4 feet long, I feel like it started like getting fucking feisty. And to be honest, like we were feeding, like my mom was never down to feed it like live stuff. So it would always be like, like the frozen rats or whatever. And I think that's not good.
They want to hunt, huh?
They want to hunt, and like it sees something moving in its cage when it's kind of hungry.
They want to strangle it,
yeah,
and then eat it.
And dude, I was such an idiot.
Who named it Butterscotch?
Yeah, that's such a great
I
name.
did, because it's fucking yellow and white. And then I thought, because I was talking to my mom, I was like, "Look, it's so cute, like the colors." And I was trying to like get her away from the fact it was gonna grow so big.
And you knew this.
I knew this, dude. We had an iguana, and like our apartment was tiny, dude. This cage was like 6 feet long, and like took up like our like dining room was in there.
Your mom must have been just tripping,
dude. But like it's like my shout out to my mom. She's like
an air horn.
Insane, just what I put her through in life, and like she's always been so supportive, and like it's always been about my sister and I, and even at times when it's been so financially bad idea for my mom, like I didn't know it at the time, but like she like definitely tried everything to make sure like we had the best opportunity, which is like pretty dope. That when parents do that, it's fucking insane.
Supportive parents and supportive mom, that's nothing like that,
No, for sure. And she definitely like put herself in some gnarly situations so that like we could have a good opportunity that, like, looking back when I'm older, I'm like, yo, mom, you are psychotic. Like, why did you do that? Like, you should have said no, you know? But, like, pretty dope to be older and, like, see those sacrifices as a whole, you know?
I was doing some research as well, and I found out you used to do a lot of lobster diving.
Still, dude, that's a new thing.
It's a new thing.
So, yeah, like, basically one of my buddies, unfortunately, like, shout out to Blake Dresner. He passed away this last August surfing, but about a year ago, he like, my roommate Morgan was like, yo, like, he came back with a lobster tail one day, and then I was like, yo, where'd you get that? He was just like, just in our backyard. And I was like tripping. I was like, you can get lobsters in our backyard. And then so I was surfing with Blake, and then Blake was like, yeah, I'm going lobster diving tonight. So my sister and I went with him, and it was like, dude, it's insane. You go down there at like 9 p.m. You got like a flashlight on your wrist, and this is all in like Encinitas zone. And like the water's not super deep, like 10 to 20 feet, and you're pretty much just like on a hunt the whole time. And I don't know, like, Blake got me into it, and unfortunately that was like the only time I went diving with him. And then like this year, I like, because I had all the gear now, I kind of was just like, every time I go out there, it's like, it's one of those things, it's like you just like surrender yourself to the ocean. And like after like Blake passed, every time I'm like down there, I'm just like, you know what? Like, nothing bad's gonna happen. Like, you're with me. And like that's like kind of like gets myself out of the like fear zone. But it's fucking gnarly, dude. You're just fear. Oh, there's a lot of sharks.
A lot of sharks.
And like you can only see like in your light zone, which is kind of dope because like you can't. I think it's scarier in the day when you can like see everything. But when you can just see your light, it's like, well, there might be a shark over there, but like he's not my light zone, so like I'm not thinking about it right now, you know.
Are you rocking flippers and like what are you rocking?
Dude, you got like full. I don't have a diving wetsuit, but like a diving wetsuit, you're a little warmer. Mm-hmm. I just use my surf one, and then you got like a head thing, which is kind of nice. Like I have like longer hair, so like the goggles don't fuck it up. Mm-hmm. And then you basically got Kevlar gloves or like gardening gloves. And you just like, dude, I think it's dope because you're like straight up down there like assassin. You're like, yo, I'm gonna go hunt you down and like capture you. And like you don't hurt them. Like you can see how big it is. And if you have a little thing on your belt and if it's of legal size, like the crown, like the body, not the tail, you get to keep it. And I don't know, like I think
crabbing, kind of same thing.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of dope, you know, like if you're gonna eat food, like if you, I don't know, like the people who are like vegans and vegetarians, like look at it, but I feel like if you went into the wild and you put in the time and effort to hunt that, and you took that animal or that food and you ate it, like that's pretty dope, dude. Pretty like dope. And like when they're selling these things for like $30 a pound at Seaside Market, and it's like, yo, just go swim for a couple hours and like they're right there. Like that's kind of sick. Like I'm down with like sustainably sourcing your own food, which is something I would like to do a lot like in the future. And I think lobster diving kind of got me into that. It's kind of sick.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's never an appreciation for something as much if you hunt it or get it yourself. The appreciation when you eat it is a whole nother level. Even the same thing if you grow your own garden and you make your own salsa. 100%. Your appreciation for that damn salsa, you're so damn proud of the salsa. I made this, you know, like for sure. It's the same deal. So
yeah, no, it's dope for sure. It's scary, but
we got a guest question from Stale Sandbach.
Ooh,
and yeah, the guest question is presented by Solomon Snowboards. You should check out the Solomon Huck Knife, one of the best park boards on the market. Been loving that thing. I was riding the Solomon Huck Knife mid-wide. If you got a little wider foot, highly recommend that board. And let's get into the guest question from Stale. Here we go.
Hey, Stale Sandbeck here. I got a question for Spenny. When are you getting that eyebrow piercing that you lost a bet on getting?
I know, dude. I need to do it. I I made a bet with him. I think it was like 2018. It was like that I wouldn't snooze for 6 months. And I was pretty good about it. And then like I kind of caved at the very end with Sebe. And then after he found out about that, he found out that I had kind of like caved a few times under his watt, like without him knowing. So like the deal was I have to get a piercing, and he wants me to get an eyebrow piercing, and I've kind of been a little bitch about it, but definitely
you gotta make good
I gotta tee that up, dude.
You gotta do it, man, because you don't want to be known as a Welch. Somebody that doesn't pay their
eyebrow piercing's pretty hard.
It's pretty gnarly, but like
how long you gotta keep it in?
I don't know, but like.
I think it'd be pretty clean, honestly.
It'd be kind of clean to go to Aspen with an eyebrow piercing. I should like get it done on Saturday.
You should.
And just show up for a week.
I bet he would be stoked that you made good on your bet.
He'd be kind of hyped. Maybe we'll do that.
That could be the next shit, man. I can see people getting on that.
We should have got a piercer in the booth so we could make that happen. That would be great.
Listen, we need to talk about Wild Mics. The fact is, they are a sponsor, and you signed a contract guaranteeing them certain concessions, one of them being spot on the show.
Well, that's where I see things just a little differently. Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but basically, it's the nature of the beast.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out. Stoney, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
I can't talk about it anymore. It's giving me a headache. Here.
Drink one of these.
The Bomb Hole. Banter. Edgy. Cheddar biscuits.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by their rules, or you can go back to the farm club. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a bomb hole generation. So one of the things that I think is kind of cool nowadays in snowboarding and just in e-commerce in general is that there's all these cool people with all these small little brands. You know, you can support the Bomb Hole. We have our little store. It's out of my freaking guest bedroom, you know. And I know you got your little merch thing that you got going on. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. No, I think it's sick. Like anyone kind of trying to do like small scale stuff, you know, like it's not easy. But back in maybe right when I started working for Stahle, like 2017, we were in China, and he just got second at the Banana Open, and we were leaving, and he went to this store, and it was a bunch of crazy hats, and he picked out this hat that's super similar to the one I'm wearing, but it was pink, and he was like, dude, you need to buy this, and I was like, dude, I'm not buying it. Like, I was like, I don't want to spend the money. I'm never going to wear it, and then he bought it for me. And I never really wore it. And then I remember like one trip I like was packing and I found it and I was like, oh, you know, like maybe I'll wear it on this trip. And then I started wearing it. And then we were just like kind of getting super loose that week. And like, I remember it was like so fun to just like drink beer and like flip the goggles down. And then everybody like started like laughing whenever I do it. So we just like, I started wearing it, and then I was like, fuck, I kind of like want to get more colors, but dude, you couldn't find them. Like you could only buy them in China, and then like I couldn't find them in the US. And I started like thinking about like wanting to like make them. And my roommate took one with like to Big Bear or whatever and wore it, and he like comes back, he's like, dude, if you're not going to make these, I'm going to make these, because like I just went to Big Bear and like 15 people commented on this hat. And I was like, dude, I know, like I've been wanting to do it, but I just like haven't had the time. And shout out to Ryan Bone, because he manufactures all these and like does all the like sourcing and stuff. But we just kind of like, it's kind of cool to, I don't know, do something different, be able to like have your own colors. And like I think in anything, like it's good business experience to like learn how to like source clothing or like manufacture your own product, like just the different supply chains you need to go through and stuff. It's like, you know, it's a good experience. There's going to be ups and downs, and we've definitely had a lot of that like the last little bit, but as you know, a lot of work, but super, super rewarding when like someone's stoked on the product or.
Well, we live in a world now where you can do this. You know, you couldn't do this years ago, so it's pretty rad to take advantage of the technology and people getting out there. Someone was telling me, I think it was Clavin, he was at X Games, and there was some kid like dressed exactly like you.
Dude, yeah, that was a trip.
And he was just like your biggest fan.
But it's like, I don't know, it's like pretty dope to like get those messages from people, or like people like want to start shooting snowboarding, and like, yeah, like even if they're just shooting their friends at their home resort or whatever, like I think it's cool when more people are snowboarding, because like it really bums me out like going to Park City and seeing just skiers. Like there's like no snowboarders there, and like kind of dope like going to Woodward, and just like I feel like Woodward has more of like a snowboarder zone, and like I think at the end of the day, like that's what we want, right? And like whether you're filming or riding, you know, like I think for me it was like I couldn't make it as a snowboarder, so like this was my thing I like felt comfortable with, and like that's cool. Like and it's pretty sick to just like see people like hyped on like their clips, or like people send me like their clip they filmed today, and it's like kind of like, dude, everyone is so good now. Like, like my job's going, my job value's going way down. Everyone's so good now, but it's super rad to see that.
Let me ask you something with the hats. Do you make different lenses and stuff too, or?
Like honestly, the lenses are a little like
you can ride with it down.
Well, like
it's not something you do.
No, like they are UV protected, by the way, so you can't you can wear them as shades, but like I always just wear my goggles. I mean, like you don't get better than Oakley's, in my opinion. Like I don't know.
Nice plug.
Yeah, good job.
Super dope. But that's like I'd always recommend like having goggles. I mean, you can wear just these, but wind gets in there. We're kind of working on a design to like tighten here a little better, but I don't know. I just think like it's more like the best zone is like, think, you know, you're on a nice snowboard trip. You want to go to dinner, but it's a blizzard, and like all your homies are like walking through the village or whatever, like no one can see. You just fucking flip these motherfuckers down. You walk right through that blizzard.
Damn it! You know what? I want one of those right now. Dude, it's working. No. So first of all, where can people find these hats?
GimbalGod.com.
And second of all, the other thing I think is fascinating is that you probably get a million questions about, how do I do my GoPro settings, and you have some YouTube tutorials of that, and you also have like a little PDF with all that info, correct?
Yeah, I kind of last year I made this like. It's like a tutorial guide. It's kind of like the nit and gritty of like, you know, what you need, what settings are best, how I export to like, there's like a certain export thing you want to do for when you put stuff on Instagram to kind of like beat the compression. But yeah, I kind of put together this like, it's like a 30-page PDF with like links to videos, and then you got like a bit of like color packs and stuff, but it's definitely, I mean, like, those are the things that I wish I knew in the beginning. And, like, it took me, like, a long time to learn. But I don't know. If you're into that type of thing and video editing and stuff, it's up there.
If you want to be a junior bacon gimbal god, head on over to gimbalgod.com and pick up all this. No, it's super.
That's awesome.
In this world we're living in, like that's what's it. I love, like, before somebody would be like, well, I don't have a video degree in college, so I just can't do it. I need to go to college to get the degree. Or it's like, no, you don't. Go to gimbalgod.com, figure like look at his settings. He already laid this shit out for you.
Well, I think what's hard, right? And like, I don't know if you've had the same experience, Stone, but like, the way we shoot and in the environment we shoot, there's not really like a YouTube tutorial for how to do stuff in the snow.
Yes. And that messes a lot of people up that never shot in the snow, for sure.
It's way harder. Like, and same with, like, I shot with Axel Hodges a bit this summer. Shooting moto is also like its own thing, but there aren't like these, like, you can't just like Google like, okay, like in the snow, what are the right settings? You know, it's always like
so true.
Basic photography, and for a while, like I was like a little hesitant to kind of like share the little trade secrets, but then at the end of the day, it was like, I think it's cool to create something like a community of people that like are doing what you've been doing and striving to do it the best they can. And like, I think it's kind of cool to see that. And like, it's rad when people like do get the guide and like email me, and like, I try and be helpful and like email back. And like, eventually I want to like kind of maybe like, it's cool what you guys have with Patreon, but like even like a group chat or something where it's like you can get these creators into like one space. Cause I think it's a different thing creating for like travel or normal like mainstream life. And then like snow is like, there's so many like little things. Even I'm learning like why you need a matte box in the backcountry. So if you're shooting at the sun, like stuff isn't like foggy or whatever.
It's pretty rad that you actually offer it or get the info and share it, because some people don't do that. And I find on my DMs on my Instagram, I mean, people hit me up all the time with questions. I try to answer everybody. Yeah. And they're always like, I'm so surprised you hit me back. And it's sharing the knowledge is so rad, you know?
I don't know. I think like, I remember like, I think some of and I remember Sage saying this to me, but like he had like an experience with like someone when he was young, like a pro snowboarder who like maybe didn't give him the time of day, and like that had a big impact on him.
You never forget that.
And I think one of the coolest things, like when I'm with like Stale, Sage, Jamie, or like any of those guys, like they give everyone so much of their time. And like, you know, I think for me, I like kind of trying to do that on the like video side, because I remember DMing a couple people that were like huge at the time when I like was a no one and had no idea what was going on, and was like, yo, like, what do you put your drone setting? Like, what color profile do you shoot with on the drone? And like, I remember like 2 times, like they hit me back, and I was like, no way, dude. He's like 400,000 followers. And like, if he's doing it with this setting, like that's a setting. And like, it's funny, cause like, those are the things that like you pick up along the way. But like, you can't necessarily like, there's not like a direct like YouTube search on like that little niche topic or like whatever. But I don't know. I know definitely like, I'm going to update the tutorial, and like everyone that's like bought it, they're going to get the new one. Like, cause I think that's kind of lame if I sold a new one and you've already, like, I want to
that's a good call.
I want to
like Adobe style.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
you bought it, you got it.
Well, I learned like I can update the file, and then it'll be like send file to like all existing orders. But
sick,
because I haven't done a new one on the 9. Like this one includes the 9, but it's kind of like up until November. But I've used it so much now. Like there's a lot of new intel I have that I kind of want to share. Just because like there are ways to like use those GoPros to make them from like out of the box. Like maybe it's just like the GoPro look, but dude, they're like little mini cinema machines. Like I'm blown away. Like
yeah, GoPro's incredible. They're going back. Aaron Bittner went riding with him earlier this week, and he's like, I got Gimbal God's exact settings. And I said, I was like, oh, you're, and he filmed a run of me, he killed it. I was like, damn, you're like Gimbal God Jr. over here. Now, so I have a question here. So if you're Gimbal God, God's son is Jesus, okay? So who would you say Gimbal Jesus is?
Dude, Gimbal Jesus. I don't know. Of any, like in snowboarding?
In snowboarding, who's Gimbal Jesus?
Dude, I'm going to give it to Brando, dude. Brandon Davis.
Hey, think about a name change on IG. Gimbal Jesus. I don't know if it's taken.
Gimbal Jesus.
Not quite Gimbal God. Gimbal Jesus.
No, he's a good filmer when he needs to.
He's just a good dude.
He's one of the best dudes.
Great hair too. I like when he grows his hair out.
Oh yeah,
his afro.
Oof. Yeah, it's so good.
Get him a shampoo deal, maybe.
Now, did you have a GoPro Skin Pro model?
Wait, GoPro Skin?
Yeah, that's what Clavin was saying something about that too. Like a. No. Is that not something you had? Okay.
I didn't. Well, Davey.
Like a GoPro cover.
No, Davey Schmidt one time last year, I think he made me like a golden GoPro.
Maybe
a
that's
golden
what it was.
gimbal that said Gimbal God on it.
A golden Gimbal God.
I haven't shot on it. It's kind of like a
Keeper.
little art piece at the house.
That's pretty dope.
But I was so blown away that he got it like wrapped by the same place that wraps all the helmets and stuff.
They should give you a promo.
Do you work for GoPro, or what's your role over there?
Yeah, so I kind of have like one of those monster deals with them where it's like, I'm not an athlete, but like I just do my thing, and they support it, which like so rad. And they're such a good, like, dude, I found the first follow cam clip I've ever shot the other day on my hard drive, and it's crazy to see the quality from that in 2011 to like 2021. Like, it is insane. Like the whole camera is cheaper than the memory card for my Red camera, and like. They're totally different tools, but like for what we do, like getting a quick clip, you want to post it on social media or whatever, it's insane. And like you can also, if you know like the ins and outs on how to make that file look perfect, like there was like a couple like insane ad placements that like I shot with GoPro, and you don't necessarily, the idea that you need all this like crazy expensive camera gear. It's just like how you use it, right? Like the camera doesn't make the photographer.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's a trip nowadays, we can see on our YouTube, like what percentage of people watch stuff on phones, or and you're like a lot of your stuff goes to Instagram, and you know you got to look like 95% of the shit you put out probably is watched on a phone, and it's like, what the fuck is the point of a Red that is like the size of a IMAX theater for sure file? And then you're like watching it on a phone. Like it's just not even necessary for most.
So true.
Straight up, dude. Like, I mean, like I've been dealing with the Red all season, and like, if you're committed and that's your thing, like for me, it serves a purpose. But like for 99% of people, I do not think it serves a purpose. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you can dumb things down. Like the phones are so good, the GoPros are so good. Like, tech is just crazy. Like even snowboards, dude. Like think of the snowboards we're riding today versus like what you started with.
Yeah,
like
big difference.
So insanely easy to ride.
What are you trying to say? I'm old?
No,
Bud's actually started.
No.
Bud's actually started.
Shots at us, kidding.
Bud started snowboarding in 1895 on the worst.
1895.
They're actually more like toboggans.
It was right around the time electricity was invented is when he started
the first
snowboarding.
snowboard.
Yeah, same thing, same timer.
Insane,
No, it's
dude.
true. The
Like,
technology has come so far.
I mean,
It's
even since I've
crazy.
started snowboarding, like, but I feel like when like my first couple snowboards were probably way more dialed in than like the first batch, you know, like think of like Tom Sims and the Snurfer, like way
you
back.
want to talk about stiff boards back then?
Yeah, straight up, dude. Like,
no joke.
No, for sure.
You're definitely tapping on the nose press on those old hogs.
Yeah.
You're not,
you
you're not
ain't
going
pressing that.
Yeah, you're not going 12 o'clock, boys. No. Well, I think we've kind of done it, dude. We've been chatting for a minute. Before we get out of here, do you have anybody that you'd want to thank?
Yeah, I mean, huge shout out to my mom and sister and my dad for just like supporting me and being along for the ride, and all the people like Dresser, Hodges, Messing, Nico, Jason Marshall, like dudes at Oakley, Davey Schmidt at GoPro, Dennis, and just like people that have believed in me and given me an opportunity, and every single rider that's let me do my thing with them is a huge shout out to them. But also Bill and Kathy from the beginning always believed in me. But it's a trip, dude. It's an honor being here and speaking with you guys. Stoked we made it happen.
Talk about carving out your own lane. Now you got setups with GoPro, Monster, working for Oakley, man. You are stacked.
Dude, I
Good
mean, it's a trip, but I think it goes, you know, like, don't be scared to try. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, and I still don't. Like, you're learning throughout the way, and I think that, like, goes for everybody in life, right? Like, you don't know what the hell's going to happen tomorrow.
Try, right?
Straight up.
And one thing I heard, and this might be kind of corny, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like they say the biggest darkness is before the dawn or whatever, right? Like the darkest times are before the dawn, before the sun comes up. And it's like, I just love that, like, you had your darkest times and then things got good. And it's like, if you're in that dark time, just fucking hang on, dude. It's gonna get better.
Straight up.
And I think that's important for people to hear. Right?
And I think like, if anything, like when I did the first trip with Stale and I dropped out of school, like I just did that on a moment's notice. I didn't tell anyone, and I still have not ever logged back in. I don't know what I got. But there was like a 3-week period where I was like, dude, like, what did I do? Like all this, I had no idea. But I think there is something to be said to go with your gut, because like at the end of the day, we're all going to land on our feet. Like, and if you believe you are. And I think that's like the mental aspect where like, just think positively and like good things will happen. Think negatively and you're going to draw what you're manifesting, right? So like, just like be yourself, try dumb shit, and like, don't really give a fuck what other people think. Cause like at the end of the day, like that shit doesn't matter.
Boom.
Bam.
There it is. We got Gimby to do a bomb hole. He killed it. Now, before we get out of here, I want to give a major shout out to Butterscotch the Snake. And we will see you guys next week. Over and out from the bomb hole.